on the brink of death. He was transported to the astral realm. The woman before him was straddling him, calling him master. He rubbed his eyes hard. "I can move." "Master, you're finally awake." "That's wonderful. Who are you?" "What's going on?" "I'm Xiao, the master's bodyguard. I do not know what happened. But you're on top of me. Is not that a little?" Before I could finish, a sharp pain struck. "You completely incapacitated. Is not I dead?" "Why even my paralysis is gone." "Master, are you alright?" "I'm fine. But why do you call me master?" Then she told me everything that happened. It was several years ago. A mysterious meteorite falls upon the astral realm. Coming with the meteorite are callous predators. They feed on human flesh. However, while the meteorite brought disaster, it also witnessed the evolution of humanity. The astral king Longming became one of the strongest evolved beings, leading humanity to fight against the predators. They established a haven for the surviving humans, the astral court. However, shortly after, Longming went missing in action, his fate unknown. "So you're saying he unexpectedly transmigrated and chose me, Suxiabai? Are you sure it's me?" "Yes. You are the chosen one, the heir to the throne of the astral court, and the hope of all humankind. But I have my senior gravis, a contestant who struggles to speak. That's too much. I'm a college-educated person." Xiaopinger directly bit her finger. "Since the master does not believe me, I'll prove it to you." The scent spread instantly. Suddenly the forest was violently agitated. Suxiabai was completely dumbfounded. A massive number of predators were swarming in madly. "It's because of them that the place has become such a wasteland. It seems you were not lying to me. Since I've been lying down for 3 years, it's time I stretch my muscles. Are not you afraid, master?" "I'm afraid, but compared to fear, I do not want to see you die here." Xiaopinger leaped instantly. No wonder Lord Longming chose you. However, facing the predator's massive attack, he was clearly panicked. Just as all the predators lunged, a voice suddenly echoed in Suxiabai's mind. "I'm another spirit within your body. Now show me your courage." The predators on the besieged hill were instantly blown to pieces, but Suxiabai was enveloped in a purple aura. "Is this the only or level ability?" "It seems to be called Dark Infinity." At this time, countless purple energies appeared in the air, as if alive, instantly surging in his body. Xiaopinger fell from the air. Then she explained, "Master, this is a paranormal ability. Can not only absorb energy, but also take others' paranormal abilities." She knelt down on the ground, requesting me to return to the Star Spirit Court and inherit the throne. "The throne of the Star Spirit Court, though I'm not interested. However, do you provide food?" "But to fill my stomach in this strange world, I had no choice but to come to the human shelter with Xiaopinger. But every place has a few troublemakers. Just like this gatekeeper before me. Xiaopinger Longming died 3 years ago. Are you looking for his bones? This guy with the bowl cut, not only is he insolent, but he also defies the majesty of the king." Xiaopinger was so angry she wished he were dead. The crowd murmured, "Yes. This so foolish. It's been 3 years, and she's still searching for clues about Lord Longming." She recalled every time she left the city to search for clues. Every time she was ridiculed. Every time she heard the truth that had become reality. But she felt everything she did was worthwhile. Suxiabai could not stand it anymore. Stretching his muscles, preparing to show off his skills, he challenged them. "So many you bullying one girl? Do not you feel ashamed? Hey, you, the gatekeeper with the ramen noodle hair, come and fight me." The crowd scoffed. "This outsider must be crazy." The ramen-haired man suddenly lunged with surprising speed. He struck with a powerful blow, a loud bang echoing. Stones flew everywhere. However, Suxiaodao leaped and dodged. He slid several meters away. Seeing the ramen-haired man miss, his younger brothers swarmed forward, but they had not run a few meters yet. He lost his balance and fell to the ground. Xiaopinger unleashed his ultimate move, Grabby Field on domineering aura surging. "With me here, no one can touch him." The ramen-haired guy scoffed, a mere tenfold gravity. "I not even feel a thing." He then leaped up powerfully, launching a flurry of punches. However, Suxiabai was prepared. Catching the punch with the palm, the ground shattered the moment the force was deflected, spread rapidly like a spiderweb. The ramen-haired guy, who intended a second attack, felt his energy rapidly draining away. "Hey, did not expect that, did you? Is not my ability special?" Purple energy instantly filled Suxiabai's entire body. Meanwhile, deep within the Star Spirit Court, Count Dracula, it seems you've sensed it too. This power, it's Longming's Dark Infinity. Suxiabai's Dorbing Palm technique is truly Huai, the ramen-haired one, retreated repeatedly. Huai looked like he had not eaten in 300 years. "How did you learn Longming's abilities? Who are you?" "I'm your forever unattainable daddy." "Xiaopinger, can we eat now?" "I'm starving." At this time, 2 people walked towards them from a distance. "Kinji, why are you here? Did that mophead give you a hard time again? I'll help you deal with him. Cannot you help Pinger with something else?" Xiaopinger hung directly on Suxiabai. "No need, my master has already avenged me." Kunji Leixin almost did not react. You're right. He is the heir of Lord Longming. He possesses the extraordinary ability of infinite darkness. He is the one we must protect at all costs. He's also our new master, Suxiabai. "Hey, can I eat already?" Overnight, this man came into possession of endless wealth, yet he is as unassuming as ever, eating leftovers. This shocks Kunji blushed and closed her eyes. Only Zhao Ping had a love-struck expression. He himself, however, unconcernedly burped. Kunji finally could not take it anymore. Although I do not know what makes you so special, since Longming chose you, do not disappoint his expectation. Shinji just echoed. You must ascend the throne and eliminate all the predators. This master is not as simple as he seems. Late at night, Tsukusabai was working out. Star Spirit. Eliminate the predators what's that got to do with me? Of course it has to do with you. Who was talking? What the hell are you doing in the middle of the night? In a flash I saw silver hair as fine as silk, a young man in a gorgeous brocade robe sitting with his legs crossed. You're the Star Spirit King Longming. Are not you supposed to be dead? My body died but my soul lives on. I'm just a weak spirit. Only can see me. You went to all this trouble to bring me here? Could it be that you're after my body? I would not stoop to such a thing as body snatching. I brought you to the Star Spirit Court, simply to make a deal with you. You're to ascend to the throne of the Star Spirit Court, and help me find the one behind my attempted murder 3 years ago. I would not do something so troublesome. You do not have the right to refuse, because I've planted a sealing spell inside you, only when you fulfill my conditions. Will the seal be lifted? During the sealing period, as long as you have any thoughts of getting a nucleic acid test, you'll be in excruciating pain. You refuse me. You might just have to say no to everything for the rest of your life. Tsukusabai was struck like a bolt from the blue, instantly petrified. He struggled painfully in his heart for a long time. Erlang fiercely said, I never imagined that the dignified Star Spirit King would blackmail an insignificant nobody. It's just so you'll obey. But why did you choose me? I'm just an ordinary person. Should not you have a better choice? For some reason, I can only choose you. Because of a strange illness, your muscles have atrophied. Do not you also want to live a healthy life? I'm grateful you gave me a second chance at life, but I'm a person, not a tool for your recovery. Interesting. I underestimated you before. Sister Kin is on the roof, looking at the moon. Why is this child talking to herself all night? Has she gotten... Or was she always a drama queen? Tsukusabai is also quite troubled. The seal has to be dealt with eventually. Tsukusabai was sleeping soundly. A gun was suddenly pressed against her head. Tsukusabai's jaw dropped in stunned disbelief. What do you want? A twin-tailed cute girl wielding a *** data * sound effect of a gun stood before him. You are the heir to dark infinity. Calm down. This is not going to spontaneously combust, is it? Cut the crap. I'm not as easily fooled as they are. Tell me, what methods did you use to forcibly seize my brother's abilities? Upon learning that Longming's soul and Tsukusabai were coexisting in one body, Mei could no longer hold it together. Tsukusabai just wanted to persuade Mei to calm down. This could not be allowed to reach Longming's enemies. Otherwise he was finished. The next moment Mei cried and called out for her brother Longming. Rushing into the male lead's embrace, Tsukusabai saw the situation and knew it was serious. He could not let the girl rush over. This enthusiastic teenager was still naked. If he were further stimulated he would explode. He grabbed the girl and pulled her away from himself. He really could not stand such an enthusiastic girl. He quickly changed the subject. If you really want to show your kindness, take me somewhere tomorrow night. He did not even ask where. Mei, with teary eyes, immediately agreed. That man actually brought his girlfriend to this kind of place. With such a lovely girlfriend proactively throwing herself at him, he pushed her away. That's not. He even asked his girlfriend to take him to find those pink roadside houses. That's not enough. I also have to let the girl scout for him outside. The girl is so angry she's starting to question her life. Am I that beautiful? Is not it more comfortable to be hugged by Tsukusao in the house? There's a mature, charming older woman, and there's also a pretty, quirky girl. But the man does not have a single happy thought. Instead, he's always feeling cold. He's so scared he does not even dare to glance at the woman beside him. Is this guy a virgin? Look at this man, he's resisting, taking no action. The woman actively leans in towards him. Her red lips are slightly parted, incredibly seductive. Any man would find it unbearable. But his eyes are fixed on the dog. His face is contorted with strain, veins bulging as he shouts, I cannot take it anymore. Then a series of pained screams came from inside the house. It hurts, it hurts. A moment later, Tsukusabai, with unsteady steps, came out of the small house. He saw the violent Loli with a gleeful expression, smiling at so fast. Tsukusabai knows her own situation. The hateful Longming has placed a vicious curse on her, but in Zhao Zongxing and Sally's eyes, he's just a perverted sex maniac. Soon Tsukusabai felt an urgent need to urinate. She did not know if it was from drinking too much water, or being scared by the pink cottage earlier. I just found a secluded spot to comfortably relieve myself. Suddenly the sphere inflated, becoming incredibly large. I was scared stiff. Only when the monster charged at me did I react. I narrowly dodged. Unexpectedly, several smaller ones immediately charged forward. The reinforcements arrived promptly, but they were also too slow. Just as Tsukusabai was about to angrily resist the little monsters, another beautiful girl is coming from afar. The predatory monster just now. Turns out it was this woman in disguise. She's betrothed to the original Protoss King Longming. Zero, he really got a wife who fell from the sky. Upon seeing his fiancée's stunning beauty, he fell for her. Zero so beautiful. Tsukusabai, still shocked, has not reacted yet. He was slapped and sent flying. Turned out the Saintess came to kill him to break off their engagement. He had just arrived at this place wanting to have some fun, when his fiancée, whom he'd never met, chased him here, and she's so beautiful. Suk Sabai was about to take advantage of the situation when a huge fist came crashing down. He was smashed into the wall, disappearing without a trace. This sudden event made the little girl's eyes red with anger. Do not think you're my sister-in-law, so I dare not hit you. Miu anyone calmly said, I'd rather be a widow than marry a man who frequents brothels. She does not understand what it's like to be desperate. The little girl wishes she were the one engaged. I did not expect Miu and Yuan to be so underhanded. She directly controlled the devouring beast to swallow the little girl. She was only temporarily trapped. It was not intended to harm her. Just then, a large hand suddenly grabbed at her. Luckily, she was agile and managed to dodge the attack. She was still frightened. She almost met her end in a ditch. I was too confident in my own abilities. Then Suk Sabai emerged from the smoke. I thought the goddess had also time traveled. That slap woke him up. It turns out the goddess Miu and Yuan and Suk Sabai admired before is exactly the same. There are 3 candidates for the throne, but the girl keeps clinging to him. She's even jealous about him going to nightclubs. The girl has a crush on him. Kihoi Xingxing said he wanted to kill him, but he never really went through with it. Miu and Yuan heard Xiaozi's vulgar words. She immediately got angry. Although she could not kill him, she had to teach him a lesson. She saw her enormous power surge. The ground quickly cracked open. The ground cracked beneath Suk Sabai's feet. Many small devouring monsters darted out. They sent him flying into the air. Then they threw him to the ground like a dead dog. With a loud bang, rocks and debris flew everywhere. This one is so ruthless. It seems she would not stop until she's completely defeated Suk Sabai. After the smoke cleared, Suk Sabai was unharmed. He even absorbed all the devouring beast's energy. Suk Xiao was furious. I just wanted to hit her a few times to teach her a lesson. This woman really went all out. I've never been so wronged in my entire life. I have to properly discipline her. At this time, the devouring demon nearby made a strange sound. The swallowed loli surprisingly did a deep squat and lift. The monster's gaping maw was forced open. Immediately afterward, the loli's seemingly light punch came. Luckily, Miu and Yuan was agile enough to jump away in time. Otherwise, the ground littered with flying debris would have been her fate. She felt a wave of fear wash over her. She decided to use her strongest move to decide the victor. Mental attack Blue Moon's eye. The 2 who were affected instantly felt mentally disoriented. He was completely defenseless. He would become a fish on a chopping block at the mercy of others. This man just came here to have some fun, but was caught red-handed by his fiancée who followed him here. Women can be truly terrifying when they're angry. She unleashed her ultimate move. Blue Moon scared Suk Sabai half to death. Just then, Kunjae, the beautiful young warrior in a kimono, arrived just in time, unleashing her famous Thousand Blades kill. With one move, she sent Miu Yuan, the first wife, spitting blood and crashing to the ground from the air. In the Laming mansion, Miu Yuan suddenly woke up, looking around at the unfamiliar surroundings. The cuts on my body are gone. Recalling the moment the female warrior drew her sword, terrifying. Like a demon descending, it was chilling. Suk Sabai heard the commotion inside from outside. He knew Miu Yuan had woken up to let the enemy relax their guard. He had Kinji cooperate with him in a play. It means to let Miu Yuan know that before the mastermind behind Long Ming's murder is caught, Kunji will stay by Suk Xiao's side to protect his safety, and the other 2 heirs are also eyeing him. He will definitely not show mercy to his enemies in the future. When Miu Yuan heard Suk Xiao say that he could not bear to watch her fall to her death, she realized it was this guy who saved her. Thinking about it, if it were not for that warrior's timely intervention, Suk Sabai would have killed herself. A blush unexpectedly appeared on her face. At that moment, she heard Suk Xiao stubbornly and shamelessly say that Miu Yuan was his wife, and he would not let her go. Hearing these frivolous words, Miu Yuan finally could not take it anymore. She pushed open the door and told him not to harbor any vain hopes. Seeing her master so dirty, Kunji could not stand it. She immediately became tense and ready for a fight. This time, she would not be using the back of her blade. A single sentence stunned Miu Yuan. She's a master. No wonder she had no wounds. If I cannot win, cannot I just run? With a leap, she soared into the air. She summoned her mount. Ghost-level predator, the Loon Bird. Kim was overjoyed. One was not enough to chop up, and now there's another one. Miu Yuan saw how deranged she was. She quickly used the excuse of discussing their marriage to send Kunji away. They agreed to meet at the Star Spirit Guard selection tournament a month later. If Suk Xiao manages to win first place in the selection tournament, Miu Yuan would acknowledge him as the heir to the Star Spirit King. You should know this selection process is very cruel. There are often casualties during confrontations with predators. Only by passing 2 rounds of tests can one fill the vacancy of the missing Protoss guards. After listening to the general introduction, Suk struck a very cool pose. If I win, remember your marriage promise. This man, in order to marry 10 such wives, I do 500 sit-ups every day, 500 push, and 500 squat. I also run 20 kilometers every day, rain or shine. It's like he has boundless energy inside him, that if he does not release it, he'll die. A month passed quickly. It's time for the Star Guard selection tournament I promised my fiancée. It's about to begin, the Sacred Mountain Arena. Just looking at it from the outside, it's incredibly magnificent and grand. Many contestants have already gathered inside the arena. The selection has not even started yet, and friction has already arisen among the crowd. The reason accidentally bumping into this cold and beautiful man. Do not let his gentle appearance fool you. He showed no mercy. With one extreme ice funeral strike, he froze that person into a statue. This man with a psychopathic level of cleanliness is Chao Ming's nephew, Ice Soul Devourer Long Weiyang. He's not only ranked 10th on the S-Class combat power list, but his mother Long Yan is also one of the candidates for the Star Spirit King's successor. With such a strong background and such power, almost no one dares to provoke him. Bafuga does not tolerate him. With a slap, he landed a blow on Chong Weiyang's shoulder. You seem very strong. Let's fight. This Chunabi, a youth Fugire, is a battle maniac. He once single-handedly killed dozens of ghost-level predators. It seemed the two were about to fight, but a charming woman smoking a long pipe spoke up to stop them. You brats. All of you have too much energy. Wait until the selection starts before you fight. She was the referee for this selection. Class Star Spirit Guardian Nine-Tailed Fox, woo. All the contestants immediately fell silent. The match time is almost up. The referee just announced the start of the match. Someone in the crowd shouted, wait a minute. It turned out that Miyuan Yuan noticed that Suxiazi had not arrived yet. She spoke up and asked to wait a little longer. The referee also knew that Suxiazi was the winner of Dark Infinity, and the one who defeated the C-Class guard. There are rules to the match. A maximum of 5 more minutes. 5 minutes passed, and he still had not arrived, just as Miyuan Yuan was extremely disappointed, and the referee was about to announce the start of the competition. Suxiazi, with his cool demeanor and 4 beautiful female bodyguards, made his grand entrance with a swaggering gait. The other contestants could only look on with envy and resentment. He was definitely attracting a lot of hate. They were planning to gang up on him first. Suxiazi explained helplessly, only he and Zhou Ping participated in the selection. The referee, seeing that everyone who should be here had arrived, announced the start of the Star Spirit Guard selection. He tapped his pipe stem backward, summoning a spatial portal. The contestants were completely dumbfounded. There had never been this step before. What is it? If they are teleported to a predator's nest, would not they die on the spot? The referee calmly brushed their hair. The Star Spirit Guard will fight to the death to defend the Star Spirit Court. If you're afraid, you can forfeit. That way you can keep your right to compete next year. Hearing this, most of the contestants quickly chose to forfeit. Facing the remaining contestants, the referee asked who would enter the teleportation gate first. Suxiabai stepped forward without hesitation, because he felt that it was not only Mu Yuan who wanted to eliminate him from the selection. Arriving early allows for better familiarization with the terrain. He had arranged to meet Xiao Pinger outside the city. As soon as he stepped into the portal, he was instantly transported to beside a giant squid the size of a mountain. This is a ghost-level predator, the Bengshan giant squid. To preserve his last shred of male dignity, he had no choice but to participate in the Astral Guardian selection tournament. I've had such bad luck since I just came in. I encountered a terrifying predator, the mountain-crushing giant squid. The prey was practically delivered to the octopus's face. Without hesitation, it swung its 8 tentacles and attacked. With a loud, the spot where Suxiazi was standing exploded. When the smoke cleared, the octopus was shocked. Below, Suxiabai was completely unharmed. He held its incredibly powerful tentacle with one hand. The male lead did not have time to care whether the octopus was strong or not. He had to quickly deal with it and meet up with the girl, Pinger. Insulted by a human, the octopus also got angry, launched 3 tentacles at Suxiabai again. Worthy of a ghost-level monster, its speed was incredible. Suxiabai barely dodged the attack just before it landed. With a loud, Squidward's tentacles slammed into the ground. Then Suxiao, using his agile movements, circulated around Squidward's blind spots in his attack. He seized the opportunity and struck at its vital point. A power blew Squidward's huge eye right out. Instant kill. The energy within the body of the slain Squidward, it also becomes a point of light. Counter supply. Suxiao by hunting it. What a display of energy conservation. Just as he was absorbing energy, with a whoosh, a hand emerged from the octopus brother's head, immediately followed by a monstrous, inhuman creature. He crawled out naked. Wisps of green gas immediately poured from the monster's mouth, nose, and eyes. It emitted a low, mournful sound that spread in all directions. Just as Suxiao was feeling puzzled, she suddenly heard someone speak. The monster is sending a distress signal to other hosts. Before Suxiao could act, the monster before her was frozen solid with a series of cracking sounds. A slender figure approaches from afar. It's Long Weiyang, the arrogant man who just made a move. He's not here to kill his competitor, Suxiao Bei. He's here to tell him that someone wants to kill him. He wants Suxiao Bei to survive at all costs. This competition is no longer an arena battle. It's changed to wilderness survival, specifically targeting the male lead. Meanwhile, various scenes of contestants facing predators are unfolding in different areas. Meanwhile, Zhou Pinger has finally dealt with several predators attacking her and is preparing to find Suxiazi and Rendezvous with him. With the competition wristband within this limited competition area, finding Suxiazi should not be too difficult. She had only run a short distance when Ping was ambushed. Luckily, she was just and narrowly avoided it. She came to the grove to meet her boyfriend, but she was stopped by a man in black who had been following her. Without a word, he started taking off his clothes. Then he leered at her with a mischievous smile. When the girl, Pinger, learned that he was there to kill her boyfriend, she immediately unleashed a powerful move, a 100x gravity field. Instantly, half of the man's legs were pressed into the mud. Even the nearby stones sank. But instead of getting angry, the trapped man was delighted. He used his elbow to strike at the girl. Although she blocked it, she was still knocked back several meters. The man suddenly took several steps forward. He sent the girl flying after she crashed through 2 large trees. Only then was a loud thud heard as she landed on the ground in the distance. When the dust settled, the girl, covered in wounds, sat slumped in a crater. The man is a lightning-type esper. He can use electricity to enhance his physical abilities and resist gravity. He happened to be able to counter the girl's abilities. The man was getting impatient. Seeing that the girl would not submit, he decided to kill her first before going after Suxialazi. Xiaoping'er, though she had fallen, remained defiant, absolutely refusing to let him harm her boyfriend. Just as the man raised his blade, preparing to end Pinger's life, Suxiabai finally arrived. Aiming at the man's neck, she delivered a powerful elbow strike. Whoosh asterisk. She sent the man flying dozens of meters. He did not stop until he crashed into a large rock. Seeing Suxiabai arrive in the nick of time and display such strength, the girl finally relaxed and breathed a sigh of relief. Suxiabai looked at the man embedded in the rock. I was secretly startled. It's a good thing I arrived in time. Then he helped the injured Xiao Pinger lean against a tree to rest. The male lead covered her with his own clothes. That night Suxiabai stayed up to take care of her. Silent gestures of care are the most heartwarming. The forest was quiet at night, so quiet that you could hear the wind whistling. You could even hear the sound of the wind blowing leaves. Suddenly Suxiabai heard a whooshing sound from behind. He quickly stood up. He grabbed and broke it. It turned out that the man had not died after hitting the rocks. He had injected himself with predator serum beforehand. He could no longer be considered human. The man's back was seen, with tentacles sprouting out one after another, whooshing. Eventually he developed a tough body like a predator's. His strength even reached the peak of Class B. Look how ruthless this 30-year-old kid is. To become stronger, he even sacrificed his own kidneys. He was willing to become a test subject for capitalists. He turned himself into a monstrous, inhuman being, but his joy lasted less than a second. Then Suxiabai landed a powerful blow right on his face. Unwilling to accept defeat, he tried to struggle again. Immediately, he was forcefully pressed to the ground and rubbed by the male lead. Suxiazi, possessing the strongest psychic ability, was like he had learned the star-absorbing great law. No matter how powerful the opponent was, as long as he absorbed a couple of breaths from them, he would become incredibly powerful. The Psychic Ability Research Institute aimed to research and create a dual-ability artificial predator. That's why they sent people to kill Suxiabai, to seize his Dark Infinity ability. Originally, the mutated man had no chance of turning things around. He was as good as dead. Unexpectedly, the sky suddenly flashed with lightning and thunder, and it started to rain. He immediately realized that his chance had come. A look of joy appeared on his face. Heaven will not let me die. The mutated man possesses the power of manipulating lightning. He can naturally harness the lightning from the sky. At this moment, Suxiabai has not realized the seriousness of the situation. With a loud roar, a thunderbolt struck down instantly. Just then, Suxiabai was pushed away. It was Pinger who rushed forward to shield him from the attack. Seeing the scene, Suxiazi's anger instantly reached its peak. He immediately charged forward, fists raised. Although the thunderstorm made the mutated man seem exceptionally powerful, Suxiabai, a reckless injury-for-injury fighting style. Seeing this desperate, crazy fighting style, the man instantly broke out in a cold sweat. Immediately, Suxiabai landed a heavy punch. He hammered him to the ground. Even this could not release the anger in his heart. Then we saw Suxiabai continuously unleashing his rage with a flurry of blows, until he unleashed his ultimate punch with a loud boom. Only then did the fight end. Dare to touch the male lead's girl. He was beaten so badly that even his own mother would not recognize him. Then small energy spheres floated out of the mutated man's body. They flowed back into Suxiabai, enhancing his strength. Just then, Suxiabai felt a wave of dizziness wash over him. Then with a thud, he collapsed into the rain. It was probably from the fight. His tit-for-tat fighting style had exhausted him. The strong smell of blood spread out, soon attracting a large number of predators. A girl went to meet her boyfriend in the grove, but was intercepted on the way by a man in black who was following her. He was a ruthless killer who came to kill her boyfriend. Luckily, Suxiao arrived in time and drove him off. Unexpectedly, this guy was a mutated person who had used a potion. The thunderstorm weather made him even stronger. Suxiao fought him tooth and nail, trading blows to bring him down. Both men were severely injured and fell unconscious. Luckily, the male lead's fiancée Muan Yuan, worried he was out womanizing, followed him closely in the heavy rain. He almost got beaten to death on a date. The girl originally wanted to give him another lesson, to teach him a better lesson. Suddenly, a large number of predators smelled the blood and swarmed the area. Muan Yuan casually dealt with one that charged towards Zui. Looking at Suxiaobei lying on the ground, she knew she'd be a widow if she did not intervene. She immediately unleashed her rage on these low-level predators. Just as she was about to leave with the two of them, the mountain in front of us split open without warning. Just a single foot that emerged was bigger than a person, wearing a steel helmet with a mouth full of sharp steel teeth. Its mouth constantly emitted a stench of foot odor. It was a demonic-level predator, the Judgment Ground Lord. According to the number of people eaten to classify its level, a ghost-level creature eats at least hundreds of people. This guy has eaten at least 1,000 people or more. If I get hammered by this big guy, I'll be smashed to pieces. The moment the large predator slammed its fists on the ground, Miyuan nimbly sprang away. With a tap of her foot, using a nearby tree for leverage, she clenched her fist and charged at the large predator, landing a powerful punch to its face. I did not expect this big guy to be so agile. With one backhand slap, he sent Miyuan flying. Seeing the tiny human he'd sent flying, completely unharmed, it was furious, almost frantic. It immediately chose to attack and charged. Miyuan saw the two people lying behind her, and thought if she dodged, their relationship is definitely doomed. Just then, a demonic fatal blow, divine punishment, descended. With a loud boom, it struck squarely. The ground immediately cracked and debris flew everywhere. That was not the end of it. Immediately afterward, the large predator unleashed indiscriminate bombardment on the area. Waiting for the smoke to clear, everyone looked at the scene before them in shock. A level 6 ultimate move was actually blocked. It turned out that at the critical moment, Miyuan released her summoned beast, ghost level predator Renoman. Look at all those muscles. And what's with that expression? This Renas has a peculiar fetish. It derives endless pleasure from being beaten, and the more it's hit, the more excited it gets. Do not let its six-pack abs fool you. It's actually just a summoned beast with maxed out defense, but it's now facing a demonic level predator. Miyuan knew the rhinoceros could not hold out for long, so she decided to take the initiative. The moment Izun threw a punch, his body suddenly froze. It turned out Miyuan had initiated visual sharing, using her psych ability Blue Moon Eyes to cast a petrification spell, but for a predator of Dizun's level, it only takes 3 seconds to break free. Suddenly something charged straight at Dizun's back. Before he could react, a large hole was pierced through his body. It was Miyuan's mount, the Loon Bird, performing a surprise attack with its special abilities. Although the Loon Bird's surprise attack severely injured the Earth Venerable, demon-level predators are not so easy to kill. Continuing the fight would be very disadvantageous, so Miyuan chose to escape with the two of them. It was already the 4th day of the selection tournament. Suksabai suddenly woke up in alarm. His first thought was of Pinger. He quickly looked around. He found Pinger naked. Lying not far from him, a small creature was touching her. What the heck is this thing doing to Pinger? He was about to angrily attack the little creature. Miyuan came. That little thing was actually treating Pinger's injuries. Suksabai, upon hearing this, quickly asked her about Pinger's injuries. Miyuan said that although her vital signs were still good, such serious injuries, even if she recovers, will shorten her lifespan. Suksabai, hearing this, could no longer contain his anger. Please, Miyuan, take good care of Pinger. Go and find the mastermind behind this conspiracy and take revenge. He came again to the huge pit where the mutated man died tragically, preparing to hide in the shadows, waiting for the rabbit to come to the tree. After a while, a beautiful woman in a cheongsam slowly walked towards the huge pit. With a whoosh, a blood-red chain blade suddenly appeared in her hand. It's Moyan, the weapons master from the Research Institute. She suddenly swung the chain blades in her hand, pulling the mutated man's body up. Just then, a lightning bolt struck towards the woman in the kupao. Suxiao had already guessed the mastermind behind it would come to destroy the body and erase evidence. Unexpectedly, the woman's iron chain turned into a shield. He blocked that attack. Moyan, known as the weapon master, truly lives up to her reputation. She possesses her-level abilities, 100 transformations. Her weapons can change into hundreds of forms at will. Suxabai's newly acquired lightning ability, against the weapon master's 100 changing weapons, who will be the last one standing? He wants to marry 10 wives just like her. He trained relentlessly day and night. Others did not know that there was an old man inside him, secretly guiding his cultivation of paranormal abilities, yet he still failed to protect the girl beside him. Not only did she get injured, she might also become short-lived. An enraged Suxiao angrily went to confront the culprit. Unexpectedly, it was a person with a seductive figure, a ruthless character wielding a chain blade. She's a pretty girl, but she's tough and does not say much. A magical ever-changing weapon? Suxiao does not care what kind of powerful character she is now. Bullying his wife, she deserves a beating. With that, he was enveloped in lightning. He forced the girl to reveal the mastermind behind it all. Moyan was surprised by his rapid growth, but still he leaped forward to test his mettle. The shield in his hand instantly transformed into the Azure Dragon Crescent Moon. Wielding one used great blade, he swung it with a practiced air. A horizontal sweep aimed straight for the opponent's face, fiercely slashing down. Unexpectedly, in just one day, Suxiabai had mastered the thunder power. It was as if Thor himself had possessed her. She materialized her electric abilities into weapons to defend herself. Muya not expected Suxiabai to be so clever. She could actually change the form of her abilities at will. He quickly threw out an air bubble and disappeared. When the smoke cleared, Suxiabai looked around. He stood on the open ground, surveying his surroundings, searching for Muya. Who would have thought this girl would be so ruthless? A barret was already set up in the woods, hidden from view. Hakian's gun barrel was aimed at Suxatsi's head. A true killer is calm and collected, adapting to the geographical environment and the situation. When the opponent is most relaxed, they strike without a trace of emotion. After a huge bullet flew rapidly towards Suxiabai. The male protagonist, sensing the danger, kicked a pebble from the ground, easily deflecting the bullet. He also discovered the target's location. Immediately, he combined the 2 lightning-shaped lightsabers in his hands into one, and with all his might, hurled them toward the target's location. With a whooshing sound, lightsabers incredibly fast rushed towards the girl. Muyan was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat. He immediately switched his weapon to the holy shield form. With a loud, it hit the shield, causing a burst of sparks and lightning. Then he saw the girl, sitting dejectedly in the crater blown out by the explosion. As a weapons master, even her weapons were destroyed. This made her feel incredibly humiliated. Then she saw Suxiazi approaching the girl, filled with murderous intent. He unfastened his belt as he walked. Seeing Suxabai's action, Muyan was truly... She trembled all over, breaking out in a cold sweat. Suxabai thought, it's a beautiful night, just the two of us, and you're so beautiful. If I do not do something, I'd be doing you a disservice. My bodyguards call me the manliest of men. The girls at the Love Shack all adore me. I'll definitely satisfy you. Muyan felt immensely wronged. Today not only did we lose the battle, But are we also going to lose Kingzi? Immediately scold Suksabe. You do not come closer. Do not come closer. The male lead has a new addition to his harem. Mo Yen, a beautiful woman known as the Weapons Master. She was sent by the director of the Academy of Sciences to kill Suksabe and seize his abilities. The male lead destroyed his weapons. Without his weapons, the Weapons Master was completely useless. After that, he became completely submissive, his face flushed, and he confessed everything. The psionicysts and predators in this world all originated from a meteorite that fell from the sky. The Academy of Sciences wants to utilize the meteorite's energy. They transform soldiers with special abilities into predators, creating super soldiers with dual abilities, but it failed. The resulting mutants were as bloodthirsty as real predators. The failure was not due to their bloodlust, but because the meteorite's power was incomplete. The Academy discovered that the meteorite actually had two cores, light and dark. The power of light is a gift, the power of darkness is plunder, and Suksabe's infinite dark ability is precisely the dark core of the meteorite. Mo Yan's sister and the mutated man are the ones sent by the Academy of Sciences. I've pretty much figured out the whole story behind why she's been targeted. I've got a pretty good grasp of it now. Leaving the bewildered girl to herself, I thought I was going to be silenced. Just then that cunning old six-rank demon, fully resurrected and causing trouble again. Suksabe easily deflected the attack with a raised hand. The leader of the demonic-level predators started questioning its existence, blocked again by a tiny human. Could there be a bug in its own exploitation ability? Suksabe mercilessly pointed out its mistake. Do not doubt yourself. This is not your fault. Saying this, he activated his ability, Dark Infinity. The dogs? A whooshing sound was heard. The demon-level predator was visibly drying up. Even the surrounding plants and trees were visibly withering. Finally, Siozu dried up the entire forest. He absorbed energy along with the demonic predator. Mo Yen, surprised and admiring, watched the male lead. The selection was almost over. Suksabe was about to leave alone. The girl quickly called out to him. She said she had betrayed the dean. She had nowhere else to go. She wanted to join the male lead's harem. Outside the competition area at this moment, the timer is almost up. Of the 33 contestants in the first round, only 8 life signals remain. When Dracula, the current ruler of the Astral Court, learned that the 3 demon-level predators in the competition area were killed, he was quite surprised at who had the ability to do so. This competition without Suksabe's participation, these two should be the undisputed strongest. When Wu mentioned the third one, Suksabe Dark Infinite, the Count clearly showed great interest. Have you ever seen such a super avatar? As long as someone makes eye contact with him, they'll immediately feel like they're being torn apart. The Xinglinting portal has opened, but Mafugui could not go back. A creature appeared before him, covered in mysterious symbols, and with laser antlers on its head. Just one glare from it, and he felt like he was suffocating. You should know that predators need to consume over 1,000 people to evolve into a demon-level being. Their bodies are usually enormous. This guy's physique is no different from a human's. Could it be the legendary creature that needs to devour 100 demon-level predators to evolve into a god-level being? If he were to enter the Star Spirit Court, it's terrifying to even think about. Mafugui immediately broke free from the shackles on his arms, unleashing my strongest killing move, True Dragonferno Cannon. I hope this will be a one-hit kill. Wherever the act passes, trees are scorched, and the lake water boils. The ground is blasted into a long trench. Looking at the effect of my all-out attack, I'm also very satisfied. My opponent should have been reduced to ashes by now. Just then, he was suddenly enveloped by a strange current of air. Fugir had not reacted yet. When the gas through his open mouth invaded, with the invasion of the air current, my whole body uncontrollably floated up until all the gas had entered my body. Fugir's eyes became vacant and lifeless, as if he had lost his soul. When his eyes regained their luster, look his eyes. He seemed no longer the same Mafugir. Then I saw Fu. They emerged from the portal. All the survivors had arrived at the Star Spirit Court's arena and were waiting. The Count on the big screen saw that everyone was present, so he began to announce the rules of the second round. That is, the 8 people who survived the first round would compete in a ring elimination tournament. Only then will you be qualified to become a Star Spirit Guardian. You can rest for a month during this period. Suksabe hopes that Pinger can recover quickly during this time. Previous battles were determined by drawing lots. This time, however, was prearranged. The first wife looked at the match schedule. Fighting Pinger in the quarterfinals should not be a big problem. The key is that the semi-final match is against the male lead. Thinking about Suksabe's rapid growth lately, his incredibly fast growth rate, but if she loses, she has to have his baby. Thinking about it, she could not help but blush. Suksabe did not know what the girl was thinking. He even specifically asked her what was wrong. He's really rubbing salt in the wound. The first wife became even shyer after being asked. The first wife thought about having 10 children. She blushed, though she felt a little excited. But seeing this unromantic, straight man, still tightly hugging another woman, she instantly became unhappy. She decided she would not let Suksabe sleep in the bed tonight. Afterwards, everyone took the injured girl, Pinger. We arrived at the central hospital, but these incompetent doctors were helpless against Pinger's injuries. The 3 of them were glaring, ready to tear the hospital down. When Suksabe's other girlfriend, Leixin, arrived, she knew someone who might be able to save Pinger. Under everyone's expectant gaze, she was talking about the Star Spirit Court, the second most powerful person besides Long Ming. He cultivates flow. As long as he's willing to help, Pinger will definitely recover, but he has been in seclusion for many years. It will not be easy to find him. Then Mo Yen spoke. Master of Ninflow, Star Spirit Guard ranking to 2. 56 years old, 1.8 meters tall, he developed the most ordinary and level ability, to its peak becoming a Grandmaster. After Longming's death, he had the chance to take over the Star Spirit Court, but he was born free-spirited and disliked power. He voluntarily gave up the right to govern the Astral Court. Now the entire Astral Court is managed by Count Dracula, a powerful D3. He built a house on a snow-capped mountain and secluded himself there. After hearing Mo Yan's explanation, all the girls were stunned. Mo Yan quickly apologized, embarrassed. It's all intelligence I learned at the Academy of Sciences before. Now I'm one of you. I definitely would not deceive you all. It's just that the Grandmaster has a quirky personality. Whether he'll save Xiao Pinger is uncertain. Suxabai stepped forward and said, to save, even if there's only a sliver of a chance, he'll give it a try. The summit? Just hearing the name tells you it's going to be incredibly difficult to climb. Suxabai still carries Pinger on his back. They set off towards the sacred mountain. The two of them struggle to climb over mountain after mountain. After overcoming countless obstacles, they finally reach their destination. The first thing they see, besides a large villa, is a familiar little creature. The little guy noticed someone approaching. Scared, it ran away. Suxabai would not let it get away. He quickly ran after it and stopped it. The pet of his wife. How could it be here? Is not this the home of a Nenkai Flow Grandmaster? The little guy was instantly terrified, trembling all over. Just then a man's voice came. You dared to trespass into my house? And you even dared to bully my pet? How audacious of you, you little brat. The newcomer was a handsome older man. It was none other than Muxia, the Key Flow Grandmaster. Suxabai was shocked to see who it was. This man is incredibly powerful. He has a very strong aura. Anything that gets close to him will melt like snowflakes. Just then, Mu and Yuan, the first wife, came out after hearing the voices. Their eyes met. They realized that this was the first wife's home. The handsome older man. He's the future father-in-law. This guy Ed. He actually stripped another woman's clothes in front of his father-in-law and wife. He actually stripped her completely naked. It turns out it was to make it easier for old Mu to treat the girl's injuries. This kid, on his first visit to his future father-in-law's house, did not bring a gift, let alone anything else. He even brought a girl. Old Mu looked happy. Not to mention Suxabai asking him to treat the girl's injuries. He directly refused. He flatly... His wife, Mu Yuanyuan, looked embarrassed. She silently drank her milk tea. Uncle Mu is now the entire Xinglingting. He's the only one who can save Pinger. Suxaozi certainly cannot give up. Let old man Mu name his price. As long as Ping can be saved, any request is acceptable. So the old man was just afraid of trouble. He did not want to set a precedent. If he saves Pinga this time, next time there might be Li Si Wangwu and so on. The first wife could not stand it anymore. She pleaded with her father for help. Old Mu felt awkward when he saw this. His daughter had grown up. She had learned to favor her husband over her family. Then Old Mu said that using psychic energy to heal would generate high heat. He needed Yuanyuan to take off all of Pinger's clothes. Immediately the old man concentrated his psychic energy into a ball of light. A finger pressed against the back of Pinger's head. Instantly she was drenched in sweat. Her face flushed crimson, and she let out a sound that went straight to a man's soul. However, old man Mu's face was great. She's actually a dual ability user. Meanwhile, Suxiabai was standing beside them, eyes closed, lost in thought. His wife was still watching him intently from the side, afraid he would secretly glance at her. He only saw that the girl Pinger was flushed all over. Steam kept rising from her body. Gradually regaining consciousness, she opened her eyes with a puzzled look. She did not know what had happened. She only felt very hot. It's like I'm about to be ignited. Suddenly I realized something was missing. Instantly a scream came from inside the room. My clothes. Luckily both men had their eyes closed. My senior wife Miyu and Yuan was supervising from the side. Otherwise the girl would have no face to see people. Old man Mu looked embarrassed. If I had not been saving someone, this misunderstanding would not have happened. Suxabai was also embarrassed. He expressed his gratitude to his father-in-law. Pinger's injuries were healed. The male lead was just about to lie down and rest for a while. When Miyuanyuan opened the door and came in, Suxabai thought his wife had come to make a baby with him. I did not expect it was just a test for him. Good, good. Suxiazi does not dare to get close to women now. Otherwise he'll explode uncontrollably. Just watching Suxabai babbling on and on, with a righteous look on his face, Miyuanyuan felt a little embarrassed listening. Then she looked a little jealous. He rushed out the door. It was the young man's first time meeting his girlfriend's parents. She promised to give him a great treasure, something to enhance his physical abilities. The two of them riding their flying mount had just arrived when they were stopped by a group of small fry. Uncle Mu joked to himself, saying he'd been away from the mountains for so long that people had forgotten him. Faced with the old and the young, the guards wielding weapons were merciless, directly threatening them to get lost. As soon as the words left his mouth, the guards here discovered that their bodies were uncontrollably floating up, accompanied by terrified screams, spinning endlessly in the air. He was so dizzy he could barely hold his flashlight gun. All signs pointed to the old man and the young boy, but it looks like they did not do anything. However, Suxiaozi discovered the problem. The aura emanating from old man Mu's body was flowing in the air like it was alive. No wonder when I first met him, the snowflakes could not get close to his body. Just then a man with a cane walked over. He recognized the familiar scent and immediately knew it was Mu Uxia. He approached without hesitation. Mr. Mu, you're not enjoying your retirement on the peak of Juding. What brings you here? What are you doing here? The visitor was indeed Lu Jianyu, the director of the Bei Neijing Hospital. Seeing the person in charge arrive, old Mu immediately stated his purpose to help Suksao awaken her abilities. 10,000 horses were thundering through the dean's heart at that moment. The feeling was self-evident. This kid killed my experimental subject, and he kidnapped Moyan. He must now want the dark core in his body. He even dared to come to me himself? Now that Mushi is backing him up, things are not going to be easy. With a big shot backing me, I'm not afraid of Zongzi. Suksao also boldly stepped forward, asking Dean Liu to lead the way to take a look. This old man is not a good person. He's tried several times to send people to attack the male lead secretly. Seeing that Mudashu is helping, he can only pretend to refuse. Breaking precedent, he applied to the Earl for permission. Suksao saw that being soft would not work. He himself had even taken on demon-level predators. With old man Mu backing him up, what was there to be afraid of? Just go with. Before the male lead could make a move, with a whoosh, old man Mu beside him instantly appeared before the dean. He looked down at him from above. I've come all this way. Dean Li, do not you intend to give me any face? He was so shocked that he broke out in a cold sweat. His intuition told him he absolutely must not antagonize the person in front of him. He could only clear his throat to cover up his embarrassment. Then he agreed to lead the way to see the meteorite, passing through one gate after another. Each gate, all of them require Dean Li's personal password to open. The closer they get to the meteorite, the stronger Suksao-bai's Dark Infinity reaction becomes. They finally arrive before the last door. The dean stopped. He said that after letting them in, they must follow his instructions. They must not act recklessly. With a series of clicks, the mechanical door slowly opened. A powerful surge of energy rushed towards him. Suksao-bai instantly froze implosionless. He did not even react when his father-in-law called him. Just as old man Li was secretly pleased, Uncle Mu raised his fist, and a huge blow landed on Suksao-bai's face. Let's see how badly he's hurt. I originally planned to enjoy a nice meal and drinks with my father-in-law. Instead I got a beating. All because I spaced out and did not pay attention to what he said. Meanwhile, old Mu was visiting the research institute for the first time. He saw a meteorite for the first time. It was just an ordinary rock. Nothing special about it at all. Suksao, however, his body was stunned by the reaction between the dark core and the meteorite. His father-in-law saw his expression. He clearly knew what was going on. He beat him up directly. He muttered while beating him. You brat, you actually ignored me. Do not you understand respect for elders? With Uncle Mu here, Dean Li, though reluctant, agreed to activate the meteorite to awaken Suksao-bai's abilities. A dazzling light emanated from the top of the meteorite. Old man Mu hoped with all his heart that Suksao would gain powerful abilities. But Dean Li, that wicked old man, hoped the protagonist would get the lowest level ability. Suksao-bai, after being bathed in the meteorite's light, what kind of superpowers will I gain? After a flash of even stronger light, the ceremony ended. Dean Li anxiously watched Suksao-bai, asking him how he felt and what superpowers he had gained. Suksao-bai was covered in sweat, bending over and suppressing his inner joy. Besides the glare of the light, there was not any other particular change. Then I looked up and questioned Dean Liu. Are now you trying to deny me my ability? Did you use a fake meteorite to fool Mr. Mu? Dean Liu was furious. You little rascal, you're talking nonsense. Anyone who is exposed to the meteorite's light for the first time will definitely awaken their ability. If there's a problem, it's your problem. Suksao-bai threw up his hands. If you do not intend to let me get the ability, just say so. Why go to so much trouble to fool us with a fake meteorite? The dean came to his senses at this time. He must have obtained an incredible ability. He deliberately said so. Since Dean Li does not like us, I'll treat Mr. Mu to some milk tea. Mr. Mu listened to Suksao-bai's words, and also knew there was something fishy, deliberately saying that I only drink milk tea with full sugar. The two of them walked out, chatting and laughing, watching the two who did not seem to care about him at all. The director was so angry that his veins bulged. That brat has humiliated me time and again. Do you really think you're safe just because Muchu is here? He prepared attack. He flicked his cane, revealing a long sword. He actually dared to turn his back to me. If I attack now, Mucha might not be able to stop me. Today, I'll kill you right in front of Mucha. Then I'll take your Dark Infinity. Just as the headmaster was about to rush over, old Mu let out a warning cry. Director Liu, have you forgotten the fear of being controlled by me? Hearing this, the director instantly broke into a cold sweat, his whole body trembling. He voluntarily swallowed. He quickly sheathed the drawn sword. After apologizing neatly, he politely sent the two away. They did not dare to breathe heavily. Suksao-bai, witnessing this scene, was shocked by old man Mu's murderous aura. That feeling. If Dean Li had made a move just now, it's a sure. He looked so harmless, but hides such immeasurable power. Is this the strongest fighting force of the Star Spirit Court now? It's terrifying. Do you know how much this old man loves to drink milk tea? It has to be the kind with lots of pearls and full sugar. A super large cup, chugged down in one go, that's the only way to enjoy it. Suksao-bai followed his father-in-law to the research institute, after his ability awakening. The two left on a loon bird. Old man Mu was curious about what ability Suksao-bai had obtained, and why he was so careful to avoid Dean Li. The male lead also knew. He could not hide it from the current strongest person in this Star Spirit Court. He felt embarrassed to say he had just obtained it and had not used it yet. I do not know if it'll have any effect. Then my father-in-law used his familiar two-fingered Zen technique again. With the asterisk pop asterisk, he tapped it on my forehead. Then he closed his eyes and used his spiritual sense to investigate. Suddenly, the man's brows furrowed. He was in Suksao's psychic space. He saw many big and small eyes. Thousands upon thousands of blood-red eyes were staring straight at him. At this sight, Musha was startled. This looked like an evil spirit type ability, a super rare, controllable type of ability. He just did not know what level these evil spirits were. Musha, who was pondering, suddenly felt a surge of evil intent. I looked back and saw a huge dark shadow. Such a gigantic figure. Could it be the true form of the evil spirit? So this enormous black monster is a demon Azure. At this moment, Suksabai looked at his father-in-law, who had remained motionless for so long. Just as he was worried something might have happened, old Mu raised a brow. He let out a long sigh. You kid, your luck is incredibly outrageous. It's a very rare ability. Not only is it powerful, but it's also incredibly wicked. I spent some time adjusting it. Suksazi was old. Then with a serious expression, old Mu said, that's a C-level evil spirit ability. Its name is Ashura, the ghost god. Suksabai thought the name sounded awfully cheesy. Then old man Mu gave a special warning. The ghost god is powerful, but its evil thoughts are too heavy. Do not peruse it. It's easy to suffer backlash. Only use it as a last resort. Do not use. A month passed in the blink of an eye. The second round of the selection tournament was held as scheduled. Numerous residents of the Astral Court simultaneously ascended to the Sacred Mountain Arena. This was the most important day of the year for them, not only because today was the final of the selection tournament, but more importantly, says Class Star Spirit Guardians will appear here. The judges for this competition are Count Dracula, Nine-Tailed Fox Martial Arts Pavilion. Besides them, a class and Class Guardians are here to observe. As the current ruler of the Star Spirit Court, the Count should not be appearing so early, but she eagerly hopes, seeing more excellent young people emerge, she was willing to wait at the venue early. Just then, he suddenly heard someone on the roof of the shed, someone who could sit unmoving on the roof of a cloth shed. Singling does not have. Looking up was indeed old man Mu. He was sitting cross-legged hugging a giant milk tea bucket, while two people were chatting. A woman in high heels and expensive clothes approached from afar. The newcomer was Long Ming's sister, Long Wang's mother, the Archangel Long Yan. But Wu did not get along with her. I could not help but sneer at her. After all, Long Yan had abandoned her husband and child. Now she's here to cheer for her son. Those words greatly stimulated Long Yan's nerves. Her face turned black with anger. She immediately flew into a rage. You just need to be fair and do your job as a referee. Wu fought back without yielding an inch. You do not need to remind me. Then the two fiercely clashed on the competition field. Ultimately, it was the Earl who stepped in and calmed them down. Is not this girl incredibly exciting to watch? Just being teased a little by a passing guy was enough to set her ablaze with desire, her mind racing with fantasies. It turns out this guy is a Star Spirit Guardian here to observe the competition. Dis rank 7, the 7 deadly sins of Fengmian. He's a master of charm type abilities. While speaking, he secretly unleashed his ability. He used charm on the girl who just arrived. Unfortunately, he encountered someone 1 rank higher, the 6th ranked Holy Knight Lilith. She easily broke his ability. And this girl is still no match for her. Still so right. Fengmian only intended to play around. He then released the girl who was under his enchantment ability. An hour quickly, Wucheng raised a smoking pipe, announcing the official start of the selection tournament. As a voice, the 8 finalists lined up and walked into the arena one by one. The surrounding audience immediately became lively. Cheers and encouragement rang out continuously. The beauties around Suksabai were not only easy on the eyes but also very excited. They shouted loudly to cheer for the male protagonist. Most prominent was the lowly girl, who disregarded the crowd and shouted, if Suxiao loses the match, he can forget about going home to sleep. Feeling awkward, Suksabai could only change the subject. He asked the girl Pinger beside him why he had not seen Like Sin. It turned out that it was her turn to be on duty at the Research Institute today. Dinley, that old fox, knowing that Like Sin was his person, still kept her working at the Research Institute. Long Yin in the stand, seeing her son whom she had not seen for a long time, was overjoyed. Suddenly Long Weiyang seemed to sense something, turned her head, their eyes met in midair. At this one glance, Long Yin felt extremely excited. Immediately she excitedly stood up to cheer him on. Long Weiyang helplessly turned her head, pretending not to hear. All the contestants stood before the chairman's platform, listening to the judge's speech. The winning condition for the selection tournament is simple. Knock your opponent down or make them surrender. The match will end immediately. After hearing the rules, Suksabai seemed very tired. Pinger beside him cast a questioning glance, but Muxia, his father-in-law who was watching the match, saw the signs immediately. He guessed that Suksabai did not heed his advice. Immediately after, Wu announced the first match of the competition. Dark Infinity, Suksabai's traditional hero Korak. Korak has participated in the selection tournament for 5 consecutive years. Every year he encountered the strongest rookie at that time. He thought that Suksabai, whom he encountered this time, was just an outsider who relied on his abilities to absorb other people's energy. From the start of the match, he launched an attack without any hesitation. Seeing the person coming, Suksabai unconsciously yawned. He disdainfully glanced at the newcomer. Do you know how perverted this guy is? He can see right through a person with just a glance. This ability when the opponent is a man? What if it were a woman? All secrets would be completely exposed. There's someone defiant who wants to challenge his endurance. In the past 5 years of competition, Kellogg was only 1 step away from first place. He felt his ability was the perfect counter to the male lead's Dark Infinity. As long as he was fast enough. Suksabai, however, let out a wicked smile. Who told you I only use Dark Infinity? This arrogant expression greatly angered Kellogg. He planted his toes heavily on the ground and launched himself forward. He threw a heavy punch at Suksabai. Suksabai simply raised a hand and slapped him. Casually, sending Kalek flying a long distance, he landed on the ground like a dead dog, motionless. He had defeated his opponent with such ease. This is a complete and utter rout. This scene directly shocked everyone in the spectator seats. Old man Mu looked, Suksai's listless and unsteady gait, and Sci. Young people, they ultimately cannot resist temptation. He's already showing signs of being backlashed by Azura. The Loli was very happy to see Suksai win so easily. She was so happy. The next match is between Pinger and Mu Anyone. Hua Mohawk, two very fierce girls. Are they trying to intimidate each other before the fight even begins? Ling Yai Hang Liu Junchen, the main wife Mu Anyone, said she would not go easy on Pinger. Zhou Ping was equally unyielding. I'll do my... Pinger's biggest goal is to become stronger. To be able to protect the male lead, she can always rely on Suksai to solve her problems whenever she's in danger. This competition is a perfect opportunity. Prove herself. Then Pinger flipped her small hand. With a loud, the ground instantly split open, revealing a huge rock the size of a small mountain. Boom boom, it continuously rose upwards, leaving behind a huge deep pit in the ground. She had practically lifted the entire arena floor into the air. Suksai had a rough understanding of Pinger's strength. This far exceeded her limits. I'm afraid it will not last long. Mr. Mu also sees that this girl is taking a desperate gamble. It's obvious. She really wants to win a game against Suksai. At the same time, Mr. Mu is also worried about his daughter, whether she can withstand this blow. Mu Yuan was also truly captivated by this scene, but she quickly reacted, I just need to dodge to win. Meanwhile, Pinger has already increased the gravity field to 100 times. Mu Yuan instantly felt immense pressure. She was forced to lie flat on the ground, unable to move. She was actually outsmarted by her opponent's prediction. Immediately afterwards, Pinger launched a super giant meteor attack. It sped towards Mu Yuan, who was lying on the ground. There was a loud bang. The boulder hit the ground. Debris and dust flew everywhere. Even the people in the audience were about to be covered in dust. Suxiazi and Old Man Mu anxiously stared into the arena, waiting for the dust to settle. The ground was covered with rubble. Everything was in a mess. Mu Yuan's whole body was flushed. She let out an extremely seductive moan. Old Man Mu immediately thought of his daughter's perverted rhinoceros man summon. It was a complete masochist. The stronger the opponent, the more excited it became. The target's characteristics would completely transfer to the caster. The men in the audience were excited by this passionate scene. They all let out excited cries. Two very attractive women were competing. The older woman's face flushed and she became unusually aroused, but the younger woman, Pinger, was completely exhausted. We heard that some guests like this girl. If you like her, you can leave a message to receive high-definition wallpapers. Seeing Pinger suddenly fall from a height, Suxiazi's harem was also shocked, breaking out in a cold sweat. Luckily, Siobai rushed out in time and caught the falling Pinger in his arms. He anxiously and caringly watched over Pinger. It's just a competition. Why try? The referee, Wu, came out and announced, since contestant Zhao Pinger is unable to continue fighting, the match is over. Pinger's fellow sisters also showed expressions of great regret. They were so close to winning the shop. Just as Wu was about to announce the winner of the match, Mu Anyone stepped forward and conceded. Although she was very reluctant, Zhao Pinger had released the restrictions of the gravity field at a critical moment, giving herself the chance to withstand the opponent's ultimate move. Hearing this explanation, the old father showed a look of relief. She's truly my daughter Musa. Only Xiao has also changed my opinion of this eldest wife. She has such strong self-esteem. Suddenly a small hand tugged at his collar. It turned out to be the little girl Pinger in his arms, who had woken up. Hearing that she had won, the girl's face lit up with joy. Suksaibai also happily boosted the girl's confidence. You're still very strong. Instantly, the girl was as excited as if she'd been injected with adrenaline. The strength of her arms around the male lead's neck almost choked. Seeing the couple in the distance engaging in intimate actions, the first wife Mu Yuan trembled with anger as she turned dark and immediately launched into a high-pitched attack. You two stop it right now. This made the sisters in the stands feel surge of jealousy. It also made Mu Yen, the newly recruited harem member, enviously blush. Finally, the referee announced that Mu Yuan had conceded. The winner of this round is Zhao Pinger, due to severe damage to the field. The next match will be delayed by 1 hour. Intermission. Suxiao opened happy fizzy drinks for both of them to comfort them. Family, do not let the competition spoil your mood. Mu Yuan looked at Suxiabai nervously. I'm sorry. Although I cannot compete with you, I acknowledge that your strength has surpassed mine. There she acknowledges Suxiabai as the heir to the throne in the engagement. Just then, the persistent Din Liu inconsiderately came to cause trouble again. Suxiabai glared him angrily. You old... Could it be that you're here to congratulate me on winning the match? Din Liu looked at him disdainfully. You've repeatedly humiliated me, relying on Muxia to back you up. Do you think I'll let you off the hook? Muxia has gone down the mountain to buy milk tea. It'll be a while before she comes back. Saying this, he pulled out a long sword from his cane. Let's see. Who else can you rely on? This blind old man is truly wicked. Taking advantage of the protagonist's father-in-law's absence, he sneaked over to kill him. Mu Yuan and Pinger immediately stepped forward. You stinky old man, dare you touch our man? Suk smiled calmly. Dinley, are you serious? This is the competition venue, everyone's watching. But the old man declared that no one could stop him, except your fate. Just as the old man's wet, 1 centimeter away from Suk Sabai. Mao, asterisk. The two girls broke out in a cold sweat. Luckily, someone saved the day. Dina was also shocked. Where did this swordsmanship expert come from? It was Zongchik and the girl beside Suksaya. She made a timely move to block the blind old man's attack, just as the old man was puzzled, wondering if there was such a person in the Star Spirit Court. The lowly girl Moin also came over. The lowly girl was quite blunt. Old blind man, we have not settled the score with you yet, but you've come to us yourself. The old man suddenly heard a familiar voice. Directly for your own ambition. You've sacrificed too many innocent lives, and will not stand by you anymore. This powerful harem lineup also shows the determination of several girls. With us here, no one can touch him. Seeing this, the old man's face turned green with anger. It's just a few more scapegoats. Just as he was about to make a move. Slap, asterisk. A strong hand landed on Dinliu's shoulder. Instantly, the old man's heart pounded uncontrollably. Large beads of sweat streamed down his face. Probably no one else in the entire Star Spirit Court could make him lose his composure like this. Then he saw Mushi drinking milk tea. Old Mu looked meaningfully at the trembling blind old man. Unafraid anyone. Dinli's tone is quite bold. Just then, repairs to the competition arena were completed. If the competition can use, Old Mu pulled Dinli over. Older people should watch the game together. Do not join the young people's excitement. The old man said he was blind and could not see the game. Musia directly shouted, watch it if I tell you to. Dare you talk back? The old man could only mumble, repeatedly saying, I dare not, I dare not. The players in this match are Mohigan Kini Juncha versus Hellfire Yimafuga. We saw the Mogan King directly remove his signature hairstyle. Amazing. It can regrow. It turns out his hairstyle is his weapon. Old Mu also said this is a pretty good superpower. Old Lead only awkwardly agree. Anyway, he could not see. Facing Mafugi, who possessed R-rated special abilities, he decisively used his ultimate move, Mo Flash. Mafuga easily picked up the hairstyle weapon thrown by his opponent, all of which were burned to a crisp and fell to the ground. You talk too much nonsense. I'll rip your mouth apart. Seeing this situation, this guy immediately cowered. He directly raised his hands in surrender. This woman, who seems like a queenly and mature beauty, has never dared to face her own son. Back then, to pursue greater achievements, she abandoned her entire family and children. Now she can only hide and practice secretly. How can she invite her son to have a meal together? Frustrated, she did not notice. Long Weiying was watching her from behind the corner. He also wanted to go out and greet his mother. Long Yin seemed to have sensed him. Just as she was about to chase after him, a man reached out with a hand, groping her body. The man was from the Xinglington group, the young master of the conglomerate controlling the energy lifeline. As Long Yin is class security guard, she naturally would not give him a good look. I'm the CO appointed by your father. I'm not your plaything. Young Master Jin coldly snorted in disdain. In a couple of years, the old man will die. Would not you still need me to secure your current position? Long Yan's brows furrowed, about to lose her temper. Just then, the surrounding air temperature plummeted. With a rustling sound, snowflakes began to fall. It turned out that Long Weiyang had made a move. Then we saw young Master Jin let out a cry and flew out. With a bang, he flew into the center of the arena. He crashed heavily onto the ground. Contestant Ling Hen looked at the young Master Jin, who had fallen at his feet, trembling all over. His nose and tears ran freely. He also let out a sigh of relief. Long Yan saw her son take action to protect her, and felt incredibly happy. He really does love himself. But the proud and aloof Long Weiyang walked towards the arena without looking back, saying that trash was blocking his way. Then he calmly walked into the arena. The entire arena immediately erupted. This is the son of Long Yan, the S-Class Guardian Dragon. He's also the nephew of Long Ming, the former Star Spirit King, the hottest rookie in this selection tournament. Looking at the stunningly handsome and cool guy, the female audience members in the stadium are completely smitten, screaming madly, young Master Long, we love you. Seeing Ling Yiheng is furious. Not only is his opponent strong, but he's also handsome. Looking at young Master Jin lying on the ground, he immediately comes up with a bad idea. Like a primary school student tattling, he accused Long Weiyang of injuring innocent spectators. He's the young master of the energy group, but his actions violate the principle of guarding and protecting the people. Long Weiyang's competition qualification should be revoked. Immediately, Long Weiyang's female fan club would not stand for it. They indignantly cursed Ling Weiheng as despicable and shameless. He actually wants to win the match this way. Ling Weiheng was not angry but delighted to hear the numerous curses. Won this match. Meanwhile, Count Dracula stated that he had not seen Long Weiyang make a move. He also asked the referee Wu Kan if he had seen anything. Wu Kan, puffing on his pipe, said he had not seen anything either. The Count then had someone carry Jin Deshao away. The match continues. Ling Yiheng was completely dumbfounded. He saw that the referee did not say anything. Long Weiyang directly revealed his weapon. Let's begin. Use a weapon and I'll use a weapon too. That's fair. Having said that, he spun his weapon, charging towards his opponent. This despicable was still looking for excuses. With a whoosh, Long Weiyang unleashed his ultimate move. The battle ended in one strike. His opponent stood there, eyes vacant and dazed, trembling as he fell backward. Immediately, another round of cheers erupted from the young female fans in the audience. A look of secret delight appeared on the dragon mother's face. He truly is. Next up is a semifinal match. Noth, Suksabai of Dark Infinity versus Zhou Pinger of God's Blessing. This petite and adorable girl volunteered to be a cleanup crew. She voluntarily gave up the coveted spot desired by millions. She willingly stayed by his side, just a pretty woman. This is the semifinal arena of the Star Spirit Guard competition. The contestants, Suk Sabai and his beloved Xiao Pinger. Unexpectedly, the girl directly forfeited to the referee. The male lead effortlessly, directly secured a guaranteed spot. Then the referee Wu Qian stepped forward. Suk Sabai is automatically promoted. He's also the first to secure a Star Spirit Guardian position. As for Korak, who has participated for 6 consecutive years, he says he's feeling really down. He's been knocked out by the strongest newcomer for 6 consecutive years. Next is the final match of the semifinals. Ice Soul Devouring Dragon Wang versus Hellfire Horse Fugui. There's only one Star Spirit Guardian spot left. Who will it ultimately belong to? Mafugui in the arena was the first to raise his hand. This pose filled Long Wang with doubt. What does he mean? Should not he be targeting me? With a loud bang, the ground shook. Following that, from Mafuga's hand, a fire dragon more than 10 meters high suddenly burst forth, accompanied by the whooshing sound of something breaking the air. The pillar fire kept rising. This astonishing scene shocked everyone present. A newcomer with such powerful energy, impressive. Long Wang calmly commented, "This guy is too confident." Using his ultimate move right from the start, Mafuga across the way smiled faintly. This body Kane's energy of this level. It's too wasteful to seal it up. Then he mobilized his inner energy and unleashed his ultimate move. Instantly, a huge fire dragon formed in the air. The dragon opened its mouth wide and condensed a ball of energy. This spectacle directly frightened everyone in the spectator seats, even the referee Wuke. They also stepped forward to seek the Earl's opinion. Immediately afterward, they saw the giant dragon spew out an energy ball from its mouth. It was the Hellfire's ultimate skill continuation. Faced with this overwhelming attack, Long Wang exclaimed, "You underestimate me." A 99-meter-high ice wall rose for him, followed by a tremendous boom. The fire dragon's fireball crashed squarely against the ice wall. The scorching fireball continuously baked the ice wall, emitting a sizzling sound. Mafuga let out an evil smile. "You think something like this can stop me? Did not even dream of it." Then he shouted loudly, "Go to Forta," only to see a fireball exploding. With a loud bang across the entire arena, the audience in the stands were in a panic, shouting, while the referee and the dragon mother nervously watched the arena. Such a shocking scene. Even the continent's human rulers, everyone was stunned. The male lead and Pinger watched, also with a look of disbelief. Is Mafuga? He materialized his abilities. Long Wang was not to be outdone. Condensing a 100-jang-high ice wall in front of her, the huge fireball crashed against the solid, thick ice wall. An explosion rocked the entire competition field. When the smoke cleared, a huge deep crate was seen in the middle of the competition field. Long Wang and his clothes torn had not fallen, but his appearance enraged him. He then unleashed an extreme ice clone technique. Under Mafuga's shies, he charged, wielding the ice-type Grim Reaper's scythe. Mafuga ducked, narrowly avoiding the fatal blow, but a strand of his unruly hair on his head was not so lucky. He'd been underestimated. He was furious. He raised his fist. He sent Long Wang flying, and even slapped his face. The mother, always watching over her son, knows how severe his cleanliness obsession is. Just look at his eyes. You can tell he's furious. You, this fellow, are unforgivable. Saying this about Long Wang. With a whoosh, he unleashed an angry strike. Under Mafuga's astonished gaze, a long ice blade whooshed rapidly towards him. Mafuga raised both hands, with a clap gripping it tightly. A series of kaka sounds were heard, followed by a kecha. The ice blade he held shattered. Without using any abilities, he shattered his furious strike. Long Wang did not expect his opponent to actually have class strength. Mafuga was startled, realizing belatedly, damn. In a moment of urgency, he unleashed his own power. This plants a seed of doubt in the mind of Muti Shu, the strongest fighter in the Xlingting, who is watching the match. A seed of doubt? The match has reached this point, and Mafuga finds himself in a difficult position. Although his goal was not to win this competition, Long Wang launched another attack. But the god-level predator possessing Mafuga's body declared, "How can I lose to a rookie in this selection tournament? Where would my face go?" With that, Hellfire collided with the extreme ice chain blade. Seeing such a powerful clash between the two, the lowly girl could not help but start worrying about Suksabai. Lilia, the class guard watching the battle, commented, "Both of them are very strong. It's a pity to eliminate either of them. The two of them have fought for so long and the outcome is uncertain. Based on Mafuga's own level, it's almost enough. He cannot reveal his true strength. The reason why the predators dare not attack the Astral Court is because of the Astral Court's strongest forces, these 10th class Astral Guardians, excluding the deceased Lawming. There are 6 of them in the arena now. His target, the meteorite from outer space in the Research Institute. Why would he care about the outcome of this Star Spirit Guard match?" Quine immediately raised his hand to concede defeat. Long Wang did not think he only had that much strength. "Are you kidding me? You're the one called the Battle Maniac? Surrender, that's not your style." The highly anticipated Colosseum final match is finally about to begin. The nephew of the former Star Spirit King, Long Ming, Wei and the Extreme Ice Dragon, will face off against Long Ming's successor, Suksabai the Infinite Darkness. Although he does not care about being the heir to the Star Spirit King, he cannot be underestimated. The Aura Xiaozi unleashed even made his opponent Long Wei feel a chill down his spine. Not mention the spectators and the other contestants who had lost him before. The evil aura fills the entire arena. Old Man Moksha watching from afar, and the blind old man also sensed it. What shocked old Mu most was that the male protagonist did not summon the demon god Azura. He simply fused his lightning and dark abilities. "How about that? I have not disappointed you with my training results, have I?" Suksabai smiled at Long Wang across from him. It's amazing. You were able to obtain your uncle's Dark Infinity. It seems it was not just luck. The male protagonist stated that he did not use Dark Infinity in this match. This is a move I created myself. Instantaneously, Suxiazi attacked Long Weiyang directly. Long Weiyang did not hesitate and immediately activated his protective skill. A sound was heard. Suxiabai shattered his protective ice crystals with one blow. Although Long Weiyang narrowly avoided the fatal blow, he still suffered a wound from the black lightning. Then black gas continuously poured in his wound. Long Weiyang's consciousness was inexplicably drawn into a space filled with eerie eyes. The male lead's two harem members watched the arena with anticipation. Such a good opportunity, why did not Xiaozi continue the attack, and the two people in the arena stopped fighting? Meanwhile in Suxiazi's consciousness space, Long Weiyang's 5 senses had been deprived. The male lead hoped he would concede defeat. He has no chance of winning if this continues. Others do not understand what's going on, but the high-ranking officials of the Star Spirit Court certainly do. Suxiabai, the ghost god Azura, does not have the ability to subdue it. Forcibly summoning it will easily lead to backlash. Conversely, dark evil thoughts are the most basic ability of ghost gods. Fusing with the rushing thunder can greatly increase the attack range. It only needs a small wound. Then I can be sure of victory. Suxiazi, this guy is not simple, but the male lead yawned tiredly. This guy still does not plan to give up. I cannot even find where I am. I'm right here, you idiot, Long Weiyang awkwardly said. Are not you going to press your advantage? You really lost this match? That's because you were too merciful to your enemy. Suxiabai was full of doubt. Lost? This guy would not. Before he finished speaking, ice began to form under his feet with a *kaka* sound. The attack range directly encompassed the entire arena. Seeing this, Suxiazi could only sigh helplessly. You're so stubborn. I did not want to fight you. You cannot possibly think this will restrain me. Seeing Long Weiyang's lack of reaction, Suxiabai was about to crack. He forgot that Long Weiyang's 5 senses had been deprived. He cannot hear me speaking. With the release of the domain, Long Weiyang also calmed down. You're the first one to drive me to this point. Besides my uncle, you're the first, but you overlook that my 6 senses hambing. Saying this, he raised his hand, releasing his final killer move, Extreme Ice Transformation. Seeing this, Long Yin's face showed worry. Weiyang, you've already secured a place as a guard. Why are you still trying so hard? Pinger, the male lead's beloved harem member, also began praying for him. Master, please do not get hurt. This is the legendary king's sword. Just the chill emanating from the sword is enough to make one shiver. This car's going a little too fast. It's getting out of control. I cannot go to the arena help Xiao Zizu away, whatever. I can even crash while watching a live broadcast of the competition at home. Mafuga conceded the match. He took advantage of everyone watching the finals, and went all the way, wiping out the science lab. Like Xin, who was on duty, happened to see this, but Mafuga's ultimate goal is the meteorite behind this door. Faced with the obstacle, he simply and brutally threw a punch. With *dong sound, the half-meter thick gate was deformed by his iron fist. Another blow and the door was completely destroyed. Mafuga was very excited. He finally saw the thing he had always dreamed of. Just as he was about to approach the meteorite, a figure suddenly appeared, wielding a long sword in his hand. He slashed Akuda. At this critical moment, Mafuga uttered only one word. Da. He pressed a hand against the newcomer's face. With a loud, he pressed him hard against the wall. What fly? Had to bother me at this time. Lixin in the monitoring room watched the scene in shock. The strongest B-level guard was instantly killed, although I know Mafuga is after the meteorite. But how can I, with my own abilities, stop him? I'm just a clerk. I can't work here just to watch over the dean for Longming and Xiaobai. She was so scared that she quickly curled up in her chair, hiding and pretending not to see anything. Mimel took Xiaobai in the finals. Long Weiyang summoned the king's sword, immediately shattering the opponent's extreme ice domain, as she countered with a powerful ultimate move, flinging it directly at the opponent. Long Weiyang was not to be outdone, immediately launching the king's sword's attack. Holy Sword Judgment and Ghost God's Eye collided. Come on, let's settle this. Amidst the shocked gazes of the crowd, the clash remained a stalemate for 2 seconds, before exploding with a bang. Watching the scattered points of light in the air, Long Weiyang finally realized that she had regained her 5 senses. Then he pointed Suxiabai. Did not you say you would not use Dark Infinity? Why the broken promise? Suxiabai spread his hands, saying he did not want to either. It's a passive skill. I cannot control it. As compensation, I've released your 5 senses from their limitations. The Dragon Mother was speechless. Is that damn Dark Infinity again? Weiyang definitely has no chance of winning now. Dark Infinity is not subject to anyone's will. It automatically absorbs ambient unclaimed energy. Suxiabai will only grow stronger in battle, while Weiyang will only get weaker. Long Yin really could not bear to see Long Weiyang's defeat. She left the arena early. Suddenly there was a loud boom. It shocked the VIPs in the arena. Dinley asked Mr. Mu, what was that sound just now? Olmu said it seemed like 000. Your house collapsed. Shocking. The young lady, while on duty, secretly watched a pornographic movie in the office. Unexpectedly, a thief violently broke. She was not only tied up and humiliated by the thief, but also violated. The truth of the matter is like this. Mafugi, whose body was occupied by a god-level predator, finally found the light core he had longed for in the research institute. Just as it was about to be devoured, Lixin, who was on duty at the research institute, used a move called Great Shifting of the Universe, directly using spatial power to make him disappear. Leixin stepped forward and stated, although Director Liu was not a good person, but as a citizen of the Astral Court, I cannot just stand by and watch you act so brazenly here, and you even want to steal the Astral Court's treasure. I'm sorry, I cannot allow that. Good things are always interrupted. Mafuga showed his anger. Without a word, he directly used his unknown ultimate skill. Tied up play. Leixin realized something was wrong, but it was too late. She was already tied up. Bound tightly. Mafuga, you only have 5 minutes to consider. If you do not want to be strangled to death, quickly tell me the location of the light core. Leixin, do not bother. Your threats are useless to me. When I successfully activate spatial teleportation, you will not be able to kill me. The surface of the light core is already under a barrier, blocking all contact with the outside world. Once I'm killed, you'll never find it. Even though he's an apex predator, he could not help it in this situation, but he still imposed some punishment on the girl. Leixin had always worked as a clerk at the research institute. She'd never suffered like this before. The pain made her scream and wail. When news of Mafu's house being robbed spread, Zhang Shiken, who was on duty in Leixin, immediately rushed out. Dean Liu, whose house had been robbed, was even faster in a flurry. Close behind Dracula and 2 others class guards. They all rushed towards the research institute. After arriving, Zhang Shiken first checked the scattered measuring instruments on the ground. Did not see Leixin anywhere. When I arrived at the lab, I saw Dean Liu trembling and muttering to himself. Inside the lab, Mafugi was lying by the grinding stone, seemingly having had his kidneys removed. Zhang Shiken jumped down from above and went to Mafugi's side to see if she could find any clues. From the marks on his hands, we can see he cut his own kidneys. Then he helped Mafugi up. He shook him, but he did not wake up. The worried girl reached out and slapped him awake, immediately asking about Leixin's whereabouts. The merced blind old man. He also began to press for the whereabouts of the light core. The old man, enraged beyond reason, swung his sword down. The girl blocked it with a raised hand. Old blind, do not you understand the concept of first come, first serve? This girl's body has been taken over by a god-level avatar. I came to the grove for a secret meeting late at night, all alone again. Not only are there captivating and alluring security, there's also a powerfully built, class god-level demonic gorilla. When everyone rushed to the science lab, they only saw bodies scattered everywhere, and Mafuga lying unconscious. Leixin and Guanghe have disappeared without a trace. Mafuga is still clinging to life, is the only clue to this incident. Only at the Shanri villa can old man Mu save. The first thing Fugu saw upon waking was Mu Xia. He sat up at the start, startled. He thanked old man Mu. He was about to get up and save his master, but his injuries were too severe. He fell off the bed and could not stand to fight. Mafuga's master, ranked 8th amongst class guards, possessed overwhelming power. He was the first to notice something was wrong with Mafugui, and followed him out. Although he was very strong, he beat up the possessing god-level predator. But this honest fellow was still tricked by his opponent. He was locked in an endless purgatory space filled with souls. Dracula reached out to comfort Mafuga. Your master's strength is not so easily overcome. Just rest and recover. I'll handle the rest. After learning the truth, Dracula dispatched Lilith and Femian immediately. Leixin must be rescued unharmed. As for that god-level predator, it must die. The 2 who received the mission guaranteed to complete it. At this time, Su Xiaobai and Zhongken rushed over. The 2 also wanted to participate in the rescue mission. Su Xiaobai firmly stated, I have to bring her back. Zhang Shiken also said that Leixin is her best friend. I must participate in the rescue. Old man Mu had a splitting headache. His home was practically a conference room. It must be his daughter who brought this on. Dean Li, his face flushed with anger, glared at Su Xiaobai. Why do you think you're qualified to carry out this mission? The male lead responded directly. You old blind man. All you care about is your stone? Do you care about Leixin's life or death? Lilith responded. Do not worry. I've never failed to complete a mission yet. Old Mr. Mu, watching from the sidelines, expressed, it's a perfect opportunity for young people to get some real-world training. Even old man Mu agrees. Dracula does not have any objections either. Dracula looks so cute right now. It seems old man Mu is a little upset. He's thinking about sending some milk tea shop coupons over another day. Immediately he grants Su Xiaobai the status of Star Spirit Guardian. Su Xiaobai's ranking in Dark Infinity is 7th place of rank. The mission to rescue Leixin will be carried out by Lilith Fengmian, Su Xiaisheng, and Zhang Shiken, 4 people in total. Together, this red-haired witch is surprisingly polite. A giant rock falls from the sky, a unique and clever greeting, and a warm reminder. Going further will be fatal. This is truly the gentlest way to do the cruelest thing. The 4 who came out of the Star Spirit Court to rescue Leixin, after careful reconnaissance, they had already locked onto the enemy's escape route. They arrived outside the Star Spirit Court, thanks to Su Xiaobai, our living map, for guiding us. Besides the unexplored areas here, there's also an area marked as absolutely off-limits. Any guard who enters there never comes out alive. That place is known as the guard's graveyard. We must stop it before it reaches the guarded cemetery. We must stop it before it gets to the guarded cemetery. Deep within the silent forest, 2 girls and a giant ape walked deeper into the forest. The irritable ape kept complaining about the lack of fights. Suddenly the sorceress sensed something unusual. 4 of her silken threads were broken. Then another one broke. It's reported that 5 enemies are chasing us. The gorilla, upon hearing there are 5, gets excited about using them as a snack. The witch laughs at him. 5 at once, you're dreaming. You're thinking too much. In the end, it was Bass who decided to leave the pursuers to the witch. Then he sat on away and left. Facing the gorilla's discontent, Bass can only comfort him. We still do not know the enemy's details. Finding the light core is the best strategy. I must concentrate on examining this girl's memories. Therefore, I need you to carry me forward and protect me. As long as we reach the tome's guards, it's our victory. Behind us, Suksabai suddenly stopped. There's an ambush. A huge rock suddenly flew towards them. Zhang Shiken drew her sword and stepped forward. Let me handle this. 9 swords 13 styles drawing sword slash. As if cutting vegetables, she sliced the rock into 4 pieces. There's no need to hide anymore. Show yourself. With asterisk dong asterisk sound, a stunningly beautiful red-haired sorceress jumped out. I just wanted to greet you all. That's far enough, Star Spirit Guards. Go any further and you'll die. Seeing the sorceress so arrogant, Zhang Shiken could not wait to attack. Suksabai quickly calmed everyone down. He saw through the enemy's delaying tactic. There will be other ambushes. Immediately command everyone. I'll hold off the enemies in front. You seize the opportunity to break through the lines. Do not linger, do not look back. No matter what, we have to catch up to Xin before the enemy enters the tome. Catch a light of. Lilith stared at him in surprise. In such a short time. I've already figured out the battle strategy. Kunji takes the lead at this moment. I'll handle the containment. You guys seize the opportunity to break through. Charging forward, Kunji thought. If it's just to delay our pursuit, then sending out their strongest trump card would definitely be the most effective. Besides, she's calm and composed despite fighting 4 opponents at once. This woman is dangerous. Suxiao cannot bear this risk alone. A big jump. Risking a wardrobe malfunction, she unleashed a combo. The witch's hair flew wildly. Using affectionate silk protection, Kunji's dragon tooth rips the sky. His hair collided with the witch's strands. Kunji shouted. The remaining few instantly unleashed their abilities and dashed away. Seeing this, the witch said, "Wanna leave? Nuts?" Then her hair rapidly burrowed underground. Instantly countless attack trails were launched. Suksabai stared in astonishment. An air attack. Crack 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 asterisk. Suddenly strands of hair burst from the ground. The witch unleashed her love and hate ocean. Countless strands of hair trapped everyone on the spot. At that moment, Lilith stepped forward with her sword. You guys go, leave these to me. Then he used the sacred light cross to sever the emotional ties. The witch watched this scene in shock. Taking advantage of the witch's stunned state, Suksabai and the others broke through, leaving only Kinjie to face the witch's wrath. This was a witch with a deep-seated resentment. It was simply because she had not had any intimacy for a month. The lack of soul connection caused her immense pain. Instantly plunged into utter madness, she directly used her ultimate seduction technique to make Zhang Chicken, a fellow woman, also experience this pain of unrequited love. The witch's web of affection was severed, and she let 3 people escape at once, so she channeled all her rage. As the two confronted each other, figure flash past. It was dealing that sly old fox. He was right behind me. The witch instantly broke into a cold sweat. I was so angry I forgot there were 5 people. Bass definitely would not love me anymore. Listening to these filthy words, Zhang Shikin scoffed. Ultimately, he's just a predator. Even if he cultivates to the god level, is all he thinks about still this, the witch retorted sadly. You do not understand. During this time, all Bass thought about was how to get the light core. A whole month. I have not had a chance to reunite with him. Do you know how painful it is for me? She frantically vented her pain, accompanied by waves of alluring sound. Zhang Chicken found it grating. Like a cat in heat on the roof at night. When she realized something was wrong with the sound waves, it's too late. Zhang Chicken's Zun was seen on the ground, sweating profusely and gasping for breath. His composure was affected, and his body began to lose control. The witch let out an evil laugh. Did not expect I had this trick up my sleeve. My scream can disrupt the mind. To render the enemy combat ineffective, threads of love, a heart-wrenching pain. You should feel the sting of love too. With a whoosh, thousands of silken threads flew towards the immobilized Zhang Chicken. Meanwhile, Suxiabai and his group, through relentless pursuit, finally saw the figures ahead. A gorilla wielding an iron rod sat cross-legged on a small mound of earth, blocking everyone's path. Feng Mian, with narrowed eyes, stepped forward. I've learned, especially monkeys. Told. The underestimated gorilla angrily swung its rod. Prepare an ambush from behind. A quick sharp sound asterisk. It crashed down heavily. Did not expect that. Did you? My specialty is the art of the clone, and each clone has the same power as the original. The gorilla, who was feeling smug, was suddenly startled. The club that crashed down was actually caught. Feng Mian, with a dark expression, told Suxiao and the others to go first. Then he unleashed his ultimate technique, the 7 deadly sins, wrath. His eyes turned red and his momentum surged dramatically, accompanied by a loud boom. A red light shot up in the sky, and at this moment Feng Mian was like a moving cannonball. He roared, "You little monkeys, come at me. I'll play with you." Suxiaozi looked at the scene in surprise. Lilith beside him told him that Feng Mian could control 7 personalities. Leave this to him, let's continue the chase. The woman collapsed on the ground, gasping for breath. She'd been followed by a terrifying predator. At that critical moment, a girl wielding a long knife appeared and saved her. It was Zongqin, who later became very close to Leixin, and Zongqin was the person who appeared most frequently in Leixin's memories, the person who appeared most often in Leixin's memories. Suddenly he found the location of the light core. Meanwhile, everyone else was on their way to rescue the girl. As Zhang Chicken stayed behind to deal with the witch Yin Yu, meanwhile Feng Mian volunteered to stay behind and stop the 6-eared giant ape, allowing Suxiazi and Lilith to continue rescuing Leica. Feng Mian, who can control 7 personalities, has now activated the red furious personality. The furious aura shoots straight into the sky. Feng Mian's tone and demeanor at this moment seem like they've changed completely. Seeing such an unusual human before him, the six-eared Mac instinctively becomes vigilant. However, he has a clone to assist him. It still looks down on this tiny human, shouting, "Do you think I'm afraid of you?" But the slap in the face came so quickly, Feng Mian reached out and slapped it. As a godlike giant ape, it had never suffered such indignity. Even the god-level leader had never slapped its face. At this moment, Feng Mian was like a furious war god. "I'll have whoever I want. What are you going to do about it?" Immediately, the crisp sound of slaps filled the air. After several loud slaps, the giant ape was beaten so badly, even its mother would not recognize it. The clone, furious, rolled up its sleeves to fight back, but as it raised its iron rod, it could not find its target. It looked left and right, but could not find it. One of the giant ape clones, beaten to a pulp, pointed it out. The clone stared strangely at Feng Mian on the iron rod. "When did this guy get here? Do the Star Spirit Guards have this kind of speed?" Feng Mian jumped up, accompanied by a dismissive voice. "There are more than a few people faster than me in the Star Spirit Court. There are even 6 of them." Saying that, he raised his leg and kicked. He directly knocked down the giant ape's clone. Feng Mian scoffed, "A beast is a beast." It became docile after a beating. After a night of traveling, as the sun, the giant ape's main body in the dense forest was still carrying Bass and running. The officer also very anxious. The pursuers behind seem a little off. "I hope the boss can quickly find clues about the stone, then just kill this woman." Meanwhile, Bass is concentrating on searching Leixin's memories. It's the scene from the beginning where Leixin was in danger. She was saved by Kunji at the critical moment. Bass remembers this female swordsman was a spectator at the selection tournament. She frequently appeared in Leixin's memories. He connected these clues. Suddenly his eyes lit up. He found the location of the light core. It's on the female swordsman. This girl before caught the eye of the sorceress who uses charming abilities. I was so excited I trembled all over. It turned out I saw the light core in Zongquenkin's body. That's what countless predators have been desperately searching for. I closed my eyes, waiting for the imminent death. At the critical moment, a strong light suddenly erupted, accompanied by a deafening roar. Countless blades from the witch's attack came. I was shaken to pieces. Then the light suddenly shrank, reflecting Zhongquen's figure. Yinyu's reaction was quite strange. The silk thread blade was actually blocked. At this time, all the wounds on Zhongquen's body had completely healed, and a continuous stream of energy surged from his chest. She quickly returned to her peak state. Watching Zhongquen slowly approach, Yinyu watched in shock. There's actually such a thing. So this is the light core that Bass has been longing for. Looking at the witch, trembling with excitement, Zhongquen teased her, "You need not be afraid. My sword is very heavy." Yinyu gave a strange smile. "Afraid? I'm so happy I'm twitching. My happiness for the rest of my life all depends on you. As long as I get the light core, Bass will definitely shower me with love." Zhongquen gripped the energy-filled longsword tightly, staring at the witch. "You're thinking too much." Then he swung his sword at the witch. He saw the entire forest wiped out in one fell swoop. Amidst the dissipating smoke, Yinyu spat out blood and fell. His heart was filled with bitter resentment. The light core was right before his eyes. What a Master Bass? Zhongquen sighed as she looked on. What a pathetic woman. Several years ago in a human settlement, Yinyu was only 18 years old at that time. She was seen with tears streaming down her face, her clothes in tatters. A man stood beside her, pulling up his trousers and still threatening her. "If you dare to tell anyone about what happened between us, you know the consequences." Looking at this wolf in sheep's clothing before her, Yinyu was left with only curses and helplessness. She inevitably received another harsh slap. It turned out to be this man, who had saved her in the chaos. Now he was abusing her. Yinyu, heartbroken and devastated, on this stormy night, she went up to the rooftop. The devil deep within her kept telling her, "Jump, jump and you'll be free." Looking down at the abyss, she felt utterly exhausted. Finally, she made up her mind. Farewell to this cruel world. I still have a little hope. I hope to be treated gently in my next life. Just as she was about to jump, a voice came from behind. Death cannot solve problems. Only absolute can settle everything. The newcomer is none other than the god-level predator, Bass. He tempted Yinyu. "Come be my woman. I will give you power beyond that of humans." Opening his mouth wide, he bit down on Yinyu's neck. Afterwards, Yinyu gained the predator's abilities. The first thing she did was, she sought revenge on the man who violated her. Looking at Yinyu, half human, half ghost, the middle-aged man was terrified, his whole body trembling as he collapsed onto the ground. "Yinyu, ma, I owe you a debt. Is not it to be repaid with your body? I'm repaying you now." The man watched Yinyu approaching. He immediately knelt down and begged for mercy repeatedly. The outcome was predictable. How could such a person be spared? Looking at the man before her, now defeated, Yinyu was bewildered. For a person like this, she had abandoned her humanity. Is it really worth it? This girl's fate is truly tragic. A great calamity several years ago not only caused her to lose all her relatives. Fortunately, a man saved her. Unexpectedly, he was a wolf in sheep's clothing. On Yin Yuging's 18th birthday, he defiled her. Because of this, she had no will to live. Only then would she be tricked by the god-level predator, becoming this inhuman ghostly appearance. Now she's intercepted by Zongquen, who cleaved her with a single strike, just as Zongquen was about to leave. Strands of hair extended and entangled her feet. It turned out that Yinyu had only been severely injured and unconscious, and at this moment Yinyu's expression froze. Looking so pitiful. "I feel off. I cannot seem to remember anything. Can you help me?" Zongkin looked at the other person with a puzzled expression. Meanwhile, Awai and Baz were still running through the forest. The boss is already very strong as a god-level predator. Why is he still so obsessed with the light core? It turns out that Baz, having cultivated to the pinnacle of godhood, could no longer break through, leaving him incredibly lonely. He originally thought he was the strongest in the world. Unexpectedly, he lost to a human boy. It was Long Ming who founded the astral court back then. It was only because the boy possessed the infinite darkness. Otherwise, he might not have lost to such a small human. Although we found Long Ming's body after his death, the dark infinity is nowhere to be found. If I can obtain the light's blessing, everything will be different. With the light core, I can not only resist the dark core's energy absorption, but also possibly break through the god-level barrier and pave the way to becoming a super god-level predator. Only then can I truly be invincible in the world. It did not take long before they arrived. At this place called the Guardian's Tomb, Gorilla Owe was going to leave a meeting mark for the sorceress Yin. Baz leaped from his shoulder. There's no need. Yin is not coming back. From the moment I sent her to ambush the Star Spirit Guards, I never intended for her return. Owe was shocked and terrified. Did you intend to abandon Yin from the beginning? She said we are family. Faced with the question, Baz responded coldly. If Yin can be exchanged for the gift of light, then it's a worthwhile trade. Family is a human concept. We purebred predators do not need such things. Then with a grand sweep of the hand, he turned and walked toward the tomb's guards. It happened in the blink of an eye. A golden light appeared, followed by a whooshing sound of a sword. Owe and Baz were both shocked, their faces changing color. Owe quickly ducked his head, narrowly avoiding the attack. Immediately after, a loud bang was heard. I saw that all the trees around me were cut in half. Looking at the shaved hair, Owe was sweating profusely from fright. Baz walked to the place where dust was flying up. A deep trench about 100 feet deep appeared. Looking at this exaggerated mark before him, he could not help but exclaim, amazing. One sword strike, such a huge chasm was created. No wonder you did not stop them. Then Baz and Owe turned to see Lilith, this class holy knight, in midair, sword drawn, staring at them. Those who listen, anyone who crosses this boundary will be killed without mercy. Baz sneered at her upon hearing this. Such bit. You're just in this class. You cannot kill me. After saying that, she called Gorilla Owe to jump over the ravine, and together they walked towards the tomb guards. This knave and sweet girl is a little cute, and she's also one of the male protagonist's harem. In this rescue of lice, she played a crucial role. After all, he's the 6th-ranked warrior in the guard. The 6th-ranked warrior in the guard? My opponent is overconfident. In terms of sheer strength, no one in the entire Star Spirit Court can match him. To his shock, Baz realized he'd been careless. At the critical moment, he quickly twisted his head to evade. He barely dodged the incoming sword, but his cheek was still injured by the sword energy, leaving a wound. Then we saw Baz jump away, while Lilith's sword struck the very spot where Baz had been standing. Although he dodged it, he still felt a surge of fear. It seems the opponent is afraid of hurting this body they've taken over. You, an S-class guard, could deflect that. Even your acting is so unconvincing. So Liz only here to lead the charge and show off her strength, to lure out the god-level predator Bathus, who has taken over Leixin's body. Unfortunately, their opponents also saw through their intentions. As long as they are within this body, is their greatest protection. Suddenly, the neglected Owe butted in. Do not underestimate me. I have not settled the score with you yet. For shaving my head. This silly. What a useless teammate. Baz was speechless when he was struck by lightning. Two master facing off. What are you, a little brother, meddling in? Lilith turned her head to look at him. I have to help. Suddenly there was an asterisk snap asterisk. Owe instantly felt a sharp pain in his forehead. I could not hold back the tears. The arriving person was the male lead, Suksaiban. Then he leaped. He shouted. Lilith proceeded his plan. The girl immediately responded to him. Baz, however, looked utterly confused. What are they trying to do? Suksaiban gathered countless black energy balls. Baz felt a sense of deja. Suksaiban was now fully charged. This is all the energy I've collected since obtaining the Dark Infinity. Success fair hinges on this. Then he charged straight at Baz, unleashing a series of super moves. Ghost Eye. Baz raised his protective shield again. It seemed to have immense energy, but dispersed, it did not have much killing power. Suddenly Baz realized something was wrong. The real danger was the physical paladin all along. Lilith was already swinging her giant sword at him. Baz dodged the blow with a diving roll. Then he jumped back with a backflip. Seeing Lilith smiled slightly. The plan worked. It turned out Suksaibai had taken advantage of his distraction and used a grappling technique to subdue him. The young man executed a hugging sister to death move. Not only can he eat tofu with a clear conscience, but he also firmly controls the girl's vital point. By the time she feels anything, more than half of her energy has already drained from her body. If this continues, she might be drained dry. Then after a loud roar, the male protagonist Suksaibai finally rescues Leixin. But it's not over yet. I'll use the shield ability I absorbed from my opponent to safely place the unconscious girl. Then I'll face the upcoming battle with Lilith. My opponent suffered such a heavy blow, yet he's not angry. Instead, he foolishly believes that the male protagonist is a lamb sent to the slaughter. This causes him to become immersed in his own fantasy world, unable to extricate himself. Suksaibai and Lilith both looked at him like he was an idiot. They just stared at that guy. He'd lost half his energy. You still want my Dark Infinity? He nonchalantly held up two fingers. I best will not lose to the same ability twice. It's just a little energy lost. Gorilla Way chuckled. Baz is the great lord of the netherworld. He controls the souls of the underworld. They ran all the way here? Just for the millions of human souls. Guarding this tome enslaved by Bass? He's always used this place as his netherworld prison. Here he can use the souls in the prison to constantly replenish his energy. When the two realized something was wrong, there was nothing else they could do. They could only fight. That'll settle it. What surprised Bass was that, deep within the tome's defenses, Maffei, whom he had banished here, was not only still alive, but also seemed unstoppable. Buddha blocks kill Buddha, the imposing manner of splitting mountains and cracking rocks. Let me introduce again, this person Mafuga's master, ranked 8th in combat power among the Star Spirit Guards. He possesses overwhelming strength, able to solve problems with his fists, and never says a word more than necessary. He was trapped here all night. Anyone else would have been dead by now, but he fought his way through. Look at all these ghosts along the way, all drifting in one direction. He thought the ghosts were scared and leading him. He did not know they were all summoned by Bass, the god-level predator, using the return of 10,000 souls technique. Just watch this guy gobble it all up. Only then the two realized that letting things continue like this would be difficult to handle. But unexpectedly at this moment, one of Bass's men stepped forward to block the two. Lilith did not take him seriously at all. Under the giant's regretful gaze, he was dispatched with a single sword. What a fast! He only wrote a few words. He had not even realized he was already dead. Then with a thud he fell down. At that moment, the two of them realized they had already retreated. All souls had been swallowed by that Bass. This idiot is completely... The balloon's going up. Is he about to ascend to heaven? And this is invincible. Then asterisk boom asterisk. Yes, you saw that right? That idiot blew himself up. Lilith experienced and composed. Did not... Just as she thought. After the explosion, Bass's soul did not dissipate, but instead continued to condense towards the center. Then appeared the myriad soul form of the god-level predator Bass, seemingly even more powerful, with a single raised hand strike. After a deafening roar, a huge crater was blown into the ground. If it were not for him stealing Bass's protective shield, he would have been reduced to ashes, but the protective shield is at its limit. How to deal with the next blow? He has to dodge it. See how powerful this man is who always carries his underwear. With sheer brute force, he can punch through the heavens and kick across the stars. Not to mention the vixen ghosts guarding the tomb. Meanwhile outside as Tsukuyobai and Lilith are facing a powerful enemy. The male lead's shield, conjured with all his might, could only withstand a casual blow from his opponent. It reached its limit. A heroic rescue at a critical moment is the best way to win a girl's heart. At this time, this class little girl from the stellar court, I started to fall for the male lead just looking at his back, but Bass was staring blankly at his own state. Is not this his most perfect form? Only 70% of his peak energy? Why he was agonizing? A cracking sound came from the woods behind him. A burly figure suddenly barged out. It was Bass stared at Maffei in disbelief. This guy actually got out of his own netherworld, but Maffei did not recognize him at all and loudly asked, "Who are you?" Bass speechless. "You forgot me so quickly." Then he stopped dwelling on it. The problem of tens of thousands of enslaved souls in the forest, that's his main concern now. Maffei said those souls were blocking his path. He used his fist to help them transcend. Bass, furious after hearing this. "You scoundrel! That was the culmination of years of my hard work." In a fit of rage, instantly rushed towards Maffei. Powerful punch sent him flying. Looking at Maffei lying on the ground, Bass issued a threat. "Even at 70% of my strength, dealing with you few is more than enough." Maffei, who was lying on the ground, casually jumped up. His incredible resilience. That completely stunned Bass. "Your fists are indeed quite impressive. If I were not short on time, I'd really like to spar with you." After saying that, he picked up his bag and headed back to the Star Spirit Court to save his disciple. Just then, Tsukuyobai and Lilith jumped out of the pit to stop him and tell him that the Bass before him is the one who harmed his apprentice. Tsukuyobai also seized the opportunity to add fuel to the fire, saying that the guy not only stole Mafuga's body, but after using it, he also opened a big hole in his chest. If it were not for Old Man Mu saving him, Mafuga would have been killed by him. Only then did Maffei learn. So is him outside the arena. That's the guy he fought. And the reckless Bass, still provoking Maffei with his brute remarks. Then suddenly, a projectile flew straight towards Bass's face. Although he easily blocked it with his hand, that unwashed pair of underwear was awfully smelly. The damage was not significant, but the insult was huge. Before he could react, Maffei delivered an elbow strike, hitting him in the abdomen, immediately followed by a Vajra leg, sending Bass flying, spitting blood. Still in midair, Bass looked puzzled. This guy, how's he so strong? At this moment, Maffei was surrounded by wisps of red energy. So this is his ability, the overbearing martial soul. Maffei clenched his fist, indicating, "He's my own disciple. Only I'm allowed to hit him." Immediately, he unleashed the overbearing ascending dragon fist. Look, the energy on his fist has condensed into a dragon's form. This also made Bass's heart palpitate. He quickly used all his strength. "Block it from me." With a loud, the dragon walking fist directly surged through Bass's body. Tsukuyobai watched in amazement, exclaiming, "So awesome. Is this the strength of an S-class guard? It's like a monster." Bass is covered in wounds. One layer of his resentment armor has been broken. This cannot be repaired. Resentment armor. Armor forged from the resentment of humans can withstand 3 fatal attacks, so one use has been wasted. Bass is truly angry. Maffei on the opposite side also had bulging veins. This man who usually treasures his apprentice was truly enraged. "Do you like this kind of girl? She's not only considerate and protective of her husband, but also takes the initiative to recruit girls to build you a harem. Absolute peak." Musa was awakened by a piercing alarm clock. He had a splitting headache and really did not want to get up. I finally got up and washed up. Then I had another cup of milk tea to keep me going, drinking milk tea on the toilet, probably unique in all of mainland China. When I finished getting ready and came to the living room, I found my daughter had disappeared to who knows where. I only saw a table of delicious food and a note. I've taken my food away. Old me helplessly eats his bowsy. Disobedient daughter. She's really a pain in the neck. It turns out that the four empresses, along with Ma Fugui, were preparing to support Suksabai. Pinger is one of the male lead's most cherished consorts. She's also the one who worries most about the male lead and her best friend's safety. Mu Anyone, his fiancé, is a bit of a tsundere though, but he only said harsh words. He was actually quite worried. That demonic little Lalita, thinking that he went out to fight without her, she started to resent the male lead in her heart. Moyen had been subdued by the male lead. She also understood the nature of the male lead's opponents best. She knew that Dean Liu would definitely make a secret move against him. This made Mafugius sitting in the back, envious and jealous. Suksabai, this guy is so lucky with women. Then several people arrived above the forest with battle traces. Pinger was the first to see the familiar figure in the battlefield. At the same time, Kunjay also discovered them. Zhou Pinger immediately jumped down and showed her best friend a lot of concern. Then I learned that Suxiazi was still ahead. As the two were about to leave, they found Yin Yu following closely behind. Kunji questioned, I did not kill you. Are you to die? Yin Yu acted like she was going to cling to her sister. You made me like this. You have to take responsibility for me. Pinger looked at the other person questioningly. She did not sense any predator's aura from them. Only after Zhang Shikin's explanation did she understand. It was because of the stone inside her. It made Yin Yu seem to have amnesia. Just then Mu Anyone jumped down to explain. Old man Mu said that was the purification effect of the light core. It must have been like sin in a moment of urgency. Transfer it to your body. It can cleanse the negative effects imposed by external forces. But it may also deprive one of their memories. That makes sense? Hui's not a predator. She's a human infected and mutated. Her bloodthirsty nature has been removed. Then she's no longer a predator. So the girl plans to add the male lead to her harem. Meanwhile, old man Mu on the peak of Juding Feng looks extremely reluctant. He's already retired. Yet he's stuck with such a troublesome little darling and has to travel a long distance to secretly protect her. Shocking. Look at this otherworldly big boss. It has absorbed the soul energy of millions of humans. Even the 8th and 6th ranked guards are gradually finding it difficult to fight back. But Bass is getting stronger with each battle. He calls himself a superior pureblood predator, but he was seen through by the male lead long ago. It's just that the absorbed soul energy has not had time to be fully digested yet. The longer it drags on, the stronger Bass's fighting ability becomes. He does not mind his intentions being seen through. Evil spirit abilities are extremely rare. It just so happens that Suxiabai also has evil spirit abilities. He's still a very powerful Azura with a slanted eye. It can slow down the enemy's mind, restricting their movements. Mafi was the most shocked. Suxiabai is only in a class guard, yet she can actually fight a god-level predator head-on. Lilith was also shocked by Suxiabai's current strength. The male protagonist said his use of ghost powers had always been limited to this point. Today I'll make an exception for Bass. If I do not defeat you, it's us who will suffer. The Azura ghost hand appeared behind him, summoned by the protagonist's call. It appeared behind him. This intense killing intent was purer than even that of a predator. The god-level predator Bass was shocked, with an expression of disbelief. With a loud shout from the protagonist, "Get lost!" The ghost hand struck him hard across the face. Then, with a palm strike, he sent him flying to the ground. Bass lay there like a dead dog. In the imprint of the palm, although the restriction was gone and he could move, another layer of his soul armor shattered. Bass roared in fury. I'll kill. Only to be met with another merciless punch from the male protagonist. And he said he has not finished yet. You take care of yourself first. Then I saw the ghost hand's fist. Asterisk, delivering a frenzied barrage of blows. I saw. Absorbed into Bass, but he began to flee. Compare to the Nether Lord. Those ghosts are even more afraid of the ghost gods. Awesome. At this moment, Suxiabai discovered that Bass, whose face was bruised and swollen from the beating, had lost his last layer of soul armor. He immediately shouted, "Now's the chance to strike while the iron is hot." As for this class guard Mafi, it goes without saying, seeing such a good opportunity, I used my ultimate move, the Tiger Cannon. With a loud bang it struck. Following that, this class guard Holy Knight Lilith, while the dust from the explosion had not settled, used her ultimate move, Judge's Assault. With a whoosh it pierced through. Only then did the two of them relax, breathing heavily. Look at Bass, his whole body trembling, roaring incessantly. The light's gift and the dark's infinity were right before him. He fell filled with regret. Suxiabai looked down at Bass, defeated in the deep pit below, and he gasped heavily. Really? Is it? Lilith noticed at this moment that the ghostly hand behind Suxiao was disappearing. The ghostly hand was too much of a burden. He finally could not bear it, and fell from above. Seeing this, Lilith immediately jumped up and caught her. She was usually cold to any man. Only then realized her current predicament, and her face is so close, my heart is pounding uncontrollably. Looking at the male lead's handsome face, the girl is completely smitten. Mafi, the straight guy, sees Lilith blushing, and asks if she's injured. The girl, embarrassed, throws Suxiabai out. The male lead was also jolted awake by the fall. Exhausted, he felt something was wrong. Suddenly he realized that Dark Infinity's passive had not triggered. He immediately pointed at Bass in the pit and urged, "Finish him off." Bass suddenly opened his eyes and said, "Too late. I saw a wisp of soul escaping his mouth. It flew towards Su Xiaobai, who was in a weakened state. It flew directly into Su Xiaobai's mouth, then it controlled his body. He had just won a tough battle, and Su Xiaobai had not even been in the girl's arms for 2 seconds. When Ma Fei, that insensitive guy, blew his cover, Lilith, embarrassed, threw the male lead away. I did not expect the battered bass to be so dishonorable. He actually played dead and launched a surprise attack. That's what you get for not delivering the killing blow. He allowed his opponent, while at a disadvantage, to seize the initiative. Su Bai, who possesses the powers of Dark Infinity and Azura, the ghost god. Even though Lilith is very powerful, faced with Xiaozi's body, he could not help but hesitate. Ma Fei came out saying he had experience. His salut still to use his fists, facing the Azura hand known for its strength. His fists were like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. The opponent's joy did not last more than a second. Then he was hit by Ma Fei's powerful headbutt. He has amazing horizontal training skills. This is all honed through constant sparring. He's knocked opponents unconscious. His head is really hard. Ma Fei is preparing to give Su Xiaobai a few more punches. Maybe he can force out the predator. But the girl would not have it. She immediately stopped him. Just then Feng Min also arrived. This shows that Bass has reached a desperate situation. He would never give up this last lifeline because of external forces. To completely eliminate Bass still depends on Su Xiaobai himself. Meanwhile, in the male protagonist's mind, Bass certainly would not give up. Such a good opportunity for body snatching. The male lead bravely decided to fight to the end. He declared that he would reclaim his own body. Although Bass was momentarily distracted and ambushed by Su Xiaozi, he was after all a god-level predator. He immediately counterattacked. With a flip, he delivered a whip-like kick, sending the male lead flying 98 meters away. The few who were outside at that time were helpless, watching Su Xiaobai in a coma. Lilith worriedly said, "Cannot we do anything for him?" Feng Min said in a spiritual confrontation, "All we can do is wait." Maf, what if it's Bass who wakes up next? That means Su Xiaobai's spirit has been completely overtaken. We must fulfill our duty as spirit guardians. Prepare to kill him. Meanwhile, in the male protagonist's spirit world, he's clearly no match for Bass. Bass says this is a battle of spiritual power here. You're 10,000 years behind. Besides the Dark Infinity and the power of the Oni, you're nothing. The male lead laughed instead of getting angry at his opponent's mockery. Thanks to your reminder, I understand now. Since this is a contest of mental strength, then I'm sorry to say you've picked the wrong opponent. Baz looked at in disbelief. Su Xiaobai formed by a massive mental force. One cannot use abilities in the mental world. He's just a brat. How can he have such strong spiritual power? He could never have imagined what Su Xiaobai's body has been through. It's been too hard won for him. Under Bass's shocked gaze, Su Xiao declared that he would not allow anyone to take it away. Bass also erupted in anger, declaring, "Do not try to fool me. I possess millions of bodies. I've never lost in the spirit world." He raised his hand to block Su Xiaobai's spiritual attack. "My glorious name, Bez, will never be ruined by a brat like you." Then the male protagonist shouted, "Not necessarily." Bass was shocked to feel an overwhelming sense of pressure. "I cannot hold on." Immediately afterwards, he saw Su Xiaozi's spiritual hand slamming down heavily. He was fighting fiercely with the enemy in the spiritual world. Seeing him like this, everyone in the outside world tensed up. Feng Min said life or death is up to him. At this time, there was also a blind old man who wanted to kill him due to a personal grudge. He wanted to kill the male lead, just as a stabbing knife was 0.01 centimeters from the male lead. With a click, it still struck. At this moment, Pinger, who was rushing to save the male lead, felt a violent thumping in her heart. She and Su Xiaobai had a symbiotic ability. If either of them is in mortal danger, the other can feel it. So Lilith intervened at the critical moment. She blocked the fatal blow for Su Xiaobai. "Dean Liu, what do you mean?" Din Li knew Lilith was there. He knew he could not succeed, but he was not willing to give up. Such a good chance to assassinate him. In your class star spirit guards, you do not really think Su Xiaobai can beat Baz, do you? Rather than handing over the Dark Infinity to Bass, we should kill him now. Facing the old blind man's provocation, Lilith angrily crushed his long sword. Spreading rumors and deceiving the public, Su Xiaobai is not lost yet. Before he wakes up, no one is allowed to touch him. Just then the male lead's body began to make a hissing sound. He woke, and he heard everything Lilith said just now. "Thank you for speaking up for me." Lilith, this knave and sweet girl's heart fluttered uncontrollably just because of the male lead's simple thank you. Her heart pounded nonstop. A woman in love truly sees everything in romantic colors. The male lead showed concern, asking, "Is your hand alright?" The girl's inner thoughts spilled out involuntarily. "It hurts a little." Su Xiaobai considerately tied a loving bow for her. "I'm a paladin, I can heal myself." Watching the two of them act like they're showing off their love, the whole place fell silent. Feng Min was the most shocked. Even his abilities could not arouse the slightest desire in Lilith. Now look at the girl's shy expression. It's the first time he's ever seen. Ma Fei is such a straightforward man, only admires the strong. Wow, amazing. This kid actually won. But the old blind man is furious. He let him win by luck, such a good opportunity. Now the male lead plans to settle the score with the blind old man. "Dean Liu, I did not expect you to be so persistent towards me. Using the excuse of killing Bass is actually to get personal revenge, right? Since you're here today, let's settle the old and new scores together." The male lead's imposing manner caused Li the blind man to involuntarily swallow his saliva. His body involuntarily began to retreat. Could this be fear? Su Xiaobai spread his hands indicating, "Director Li, were not you going to kill me? What are you hesitating for? Dean Liu could not figure out the protagonist's intentions. He stated that class guards could not easily attack humans. A duel requires at least 10 witnesses. Otherwise, he would be held accountable by Dracula. Use humans for predator experiments and send assassins to kill my master. Did not you think you'd be held accountable? A beautiful figure leaps down with the sound. Let's bear witness for the master. Plus those 3 class guards. That should be enough. The harem group is here. The old blind man also angrily looks at the newcomer. Sure enough, they're a family. Mafugi immediately says, Master, you're actually still alive. What the hell are you talking about? Who could kill me? Saying this, he threw a bundle to Mafuga. Still steaming. This old man's ability is incredibly amazing. Even the girls were thrilled watching it. It turns out it's in Sir-level ability. Time rewind. Instantly younger, back to 28. Not only did I get more hair, my eyesight also restored. His current combat strength is the strongest he's ever had. The male lead has seen a lot in his life, so he would not be fazed by this. Holding the great sword borrowed from Lilith, he did not expect his opponent to be so fast. The watching girl felt her eyes could not keep up. This is also the first time since Lilith became a guardian that she had seen Dean Liu fight with all his might. At this moment, Dean Liu, prioritizing speed, slashed down with his sword, but the male lead easily parried it with a backhand. Dean Liu was well aware of the difference in combat strength between S-class and A-class. What he never expected was the male lead had absorbed the 10,000 souls power of Bass. Things had changed so much. Lilith saw Suxiaozi's react and could not help but start daydreaming again. Just then, the male lead suddenly raised his hand. Dean Liu, you're being reckless approaching the opponent like this. It's very dangerous. Dean Liu realized something was wrong. I immediately dodged and jumped away. Thinking back to what just happened still makes me feel scared. Thankfully, I can see now. Then Dean Liu stepped down, sending shattered stones flying. He used the sword energy around him to attack Suxiaobai in the distance. Seeing this, the male lead did not hesitate. He immediately used a sonic attack, easily deflecting Dean Liu's long-range attack. Such a cool fight. The watching girl saw many surprises. A top-tier class guard losing to a class rookie. This made Dean Liu feel very embarrassed. He immediately unleashed his full power and charged. Suxiaozi did not hesitate and fought back fiercely. It seemed both of them used their ultimate moves. The battle scene froze for a moment. All the women watched Suxiaobai in the arena nervously. The male lead had a long sword wound across his chest, while Dean Liu's entire right arm was severed. It turned out that at the critical moment, Suxiaozi used the Azure Slanting Eye to restrain his opponent. Seeing that the male lead had won, the harem girls were overjoyed. Lilith immediately rushed over, concernedly asking Suxiao how his injuries were. She's shy. I'm a paladin, I can heal you. The male lead immediately shouted. The battle is not over yet. Do not come over. When Dean Liu's men were dying, they could all transform into predators. This blind man, the mastermind behind the artificial predator, will be no exception. He immediately shouted, stop playing dead, Dean Liu. Your men already tried that trick. At that moment, Dean Liu chuckled. I have to admit, you're truly strong. I never expected to lose to you, but for my lifelong ambition, to achieve perfect fusion between humans and predators, I must kill you. Everything I've done is for the stellar court. A blind old man over 90 years old, with such a glamorous woman by his side, unexpectedly conquered by the handsome male lead. The old man is furious and wants to duel with the male lead. In a second, I'll return to my peak youth. Moreover, I can trigger a second evolution even when I'm dying. This intense bloody aura. It's the same as the one I encountered before. Only Dean Liu's aura is even stronger. I see him covered in eyes. Body enormously huge. His body is incredibly huge. These bizarre aspects all tell everyone. He has completely transcended humanity. He has become an artificial predator. It feels even more exaggerated than that god-level Bass. Even the witch in you finds it disgusting. Just one glance makes one's whole body tremble. While Dean Liu in his predator form has lost his sanity, he still holds on to one obsession. Everyone watched this scene unfold before them. Even Mo Yen, who had followed Dean Liu for years, had never seen this before. He's no longer human. A star spirit guardian, yet he willingly fell. Now there's only one way. We must help him find release. Suddenly, Dean Liu's giant eye on his chest focused on where the voice had just fallen. A green laser beam shot straight towards Ma Fei's face. He kept muttering as Suxiaobai. Luckily, Ma Fei dodged in time, avoiding the impact of the light wave explosion. In terms of rank, I'm your superior. You dare to ambush me. I did not expect him to charge forward with a powerful punch. What met him was a gigantic headbutt. It sent Ma Fei flying 998 meters away in an instant. Luckily, Ma Fei had a hard head, otherwise it would have been dangerous. But before he could celebrate, he saw Dean Liu's eyes spinning incessantly. As if searching for Xiaozi's location, the male protagonist saw this scene. Immediately alert everyone present. Danger. It's an indiscriminate attack. Then we saw Dean Liu's eyes all over his body, all emitting green lasers towards the crowd. A series of booming explosions continued endlessly. He was like a madman, constantly activating the eyes all over his body to fire beams of light, muttering incessantly, I want you dead. I want you dead. Such intense. Mu Yuan was the first to succumb. She was covered in wounds from the exploding shrapnel. Worst of all, her leg was injured by a broken tree branch. She lay on the ground unable to move. The dazzling green light was about to strike again. It's over, I cannot dodge it. At the critical moment, there was a click. A towering figure appeared before her. It was Mu Yuan's father, Mu Xiao, the current strongest in the Star Spirit Court. With a cool, casual wave of his hand, he instantly deflected the incoming laser. Seeing that it was actually her own father, Mu Yuan was quite surprised. How did you get here? Faced with her daughter's question, the old man replied very domineeringly, "With death, do not be afraid." Meanwhile, Dinshu's frantic attacks continued. The women tried their best to dodge, but they were constantly hit, letting out cries of surprise. Suddenly a loud roar was heard. Dinli, who had just been going crazy, instinctively stopped. He was still gurgling and swallowing saliva incessantly. Muxia calmly walked up to Dinliu. "You look so much hair and eyes. Is it about making up for what you lack? You look like this now. I can hardly pretend I did not see it." Hearing Muxia's question, Dinli began to tremble uncontrollably. The onlookers were puzzled. Was not that guy unconscious? But Xiaozi knew very well. Every time Dinli sees Uncle Mu, he involuntarily trembles all over. It's the instinct for survival, is not it? I already retired. I did not want to make things difficult for you. Saying so, he grabs a nearby tree, with a loud crack snapping it in half. But you injured my daughter. Cannot stand anymore. Did not blame me for being too harsh. Everyone was seeing Xinglinting expert make a move for the first time. This was the first time they saw Xinglinting expert strike. He leaped up in an instant, appearing before Dinli. My wife was bullied. How can I tolerate that? At the crucial moment, it's still my father-in-law who saves the day. The person arriving was Muxia, the strongest fighter in the Star Spirit Court. Even Dinliu, who had already lost consciousness, instinctively trembled in fear. He casually grabbed a large tree nearby, and under everyone's expectant gaze, in a flash leaped in front of Dinliu. He swung the tree, striking Dinliu squarely on the forehead. With a whoosh, it fell to the ground. The earth cracked instantly. Smoke and dust rose everywhere. Such power from a casual strike. As fellow class guards, the difference between them is immense. At this moment, Miyu and Yuan's face was filled with happiness. The male protagonist could not participate in the battle at this time. He took on a logistical role, activating a protective shield to ensure everyone's safety. Dinli kneeling and beaten, he no longer felt even a trace of fear. His predatory instincts were fully aroused, but before he could gloat for even 2 seconds. Seeing that Dinli had not regained his senses from the beating, Old Man Mu unleashed a wave of, completely enveloping Dinli. This move is completely incomprehensible to those without sufficient skill. Then we saw Dinli, all his eyes were gouged out. All his eyes were instantly destroyed simultaneously. Instant kill. Is this the realm of the strong? Originally, Muxia Nyan, considering his years of working alongside Dinli, spared his life and told him to mend his ways. Unexpectedly, Dinli had completely lost his mind. Although I was still trembling with fear, the predator's ferocity took over. Then a beam of energy erupted from its mouth. A massive wave of energy surged towards Muxia's back. Miyuan looked on in horror, quickly warning her father of the danger. Dodge it. At that moment, Muxia calmly turned his head and gently spat. The huge wave of light crashed over, like an hourglass in the desert. It was not only blocked by the foxtail grass, but also deflected by Dinliu's fatal blow. It was directly reflected back. At this moment, Dinliu instinctively showed surprise. Before he could react, the foxtail grass pierced right through. Dinli was left lying there dazed and confused. Muxia watched him fall. She could not help but sigh. If you had not gone down the wrong path, you might have been a fine star spirit guardian. It's a pit, but I cannot let him become like those 5 men. Then she did not even bother to take care of her daughter. She rushed off to buy the half-price milk tea. Before leaving, she did not forget to entrust her daughter to Suxiazi's care. The male lead could only awkwardly agree. He's quite a good father-in-law. Looking at the energy points scattering in the air, this is the culmination of Dinli's life's work, but Suxiazi did not absorb them. Instead, he scattered them. He's absorbed Base's soul power. He has not fully digested it yet. Suk said, "Miss spoils of war. He has no reason to take them. He lives in constant fear and danger. The girls around him are strictly off limits. I've just subdued this captivating little witch." Waking the male lead up this way in the morning, I guess any man would find it unbearable, especially since Suxiabai cannot, Luckily, Kunmizi, with her explosive fighting ability, arrived just in time. Yinyu immediately explained that it was a misunderstanding. She was not trying to seduce the male lead. Witches are originally humans infected and mutated. Although Kunmizi's light core in her chest purified her, restoring her humanity, her past behavior is not something she can change overnight. Suxiabai has important business to attend to today, namely going to Dracula's castle, to attend his own class guard promotion ceremony. Upon arrival, he saw a monk in a tattered robe, being stopped and driven away by the gatekeepers. Suxiabai stepped in to save the situation just in time. He invited the impressive master to go in together. He casually inquired about the master's name and learned that he was actually the rank 4th rank Kune master. Suxiabai quickly introduced himself as a junior and paid his respects to the master. After all, he was the 4th ranked rank guard. It was only because he had not been out and about for many years that, as the two walked together, unexpectedly the master took the initiative to ask the male lead about Kunmizi. It turned out that Zhang Quanqin was an old friend of the master. They had not been in contact for many years. It seems he came to the meeting to inquire about Kinji's news. That's probably why he made an exception to attend the meeting. Just then, a voice interrupted their conversation. "Your sus? Not only did you help Xinglinting retrieve the gift of light, he even killed the Netherworld Lord Bess, and he won against Dean Liu in a swordsmanship duel. He's about to become the youngest class guardian in history. Rumors about you are all over Mount Shu. Are you really that amazing?" The visitor was Bai Yumo, the Grandmaster of the Shu Mountain Sword Sect, the 5th rank's class star spirit guardian. She expressed great interest in Suxiazi. He's going to test Suxiazi's skills right away. She raised her index finger and lightly chanted sword come. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, countless points of light suddenly appeared in the sky. Swish swish, thousands of sharp swords rained down. Master Ku gently shook his bell. Brother Suxiao, do not worry. You are Khan's friend. I will not let anything happen to you. Suxiaobai was shocked to find that such a powerful attack was easily defeated. Bayumo, seeing his attack deflected, angrily cursed Kumu for meddling. Master Kated, today is the day of Brother Suxiao's advancement. Everyone should value harmony. Bayumo found himself at an impasse, unyielding. He felt it was pointless. Just then, with a whoosh, a sword beam flew rapidly from behind her. The girl dodged the attack, but the distant tower was cut in half. So it's Suxiaozi's nanny Lilith who has arrived. The two women started fighting as soon as they met. At a critical moment, both women were grabbed by two large hands. Even when restrained, the two kept arguing incessantly. This left the male lead quite puzzled. How much hatred did they have for each other? At this time, Master Kuma stepped forward to explain. They are from mutually hostile countries. Good heavens. Two high and mighty goddesses fought over a man, completely disregarding their image and brawling in public. Luckily, Suxiaozi controlled them in time with his ghostly hands. It turned out that they were from mutually hostile countries. Grandmaster Ku stepped forward to explain. This continent once had many flourishing nations. Due to the predator outbreak, many countries declined and even perished, since surviving small countries had to rely on the Star Court for supplies and weapons. Their strongest fighters had to become Star Court guards. Seraphina Lilith is the strongest from the Western Night Kingdom. The Sword Immortal Yu Jiangxian and Moza are from the mysterious Eastern Land, the Sword Immortal's Daughter Kingdom. Although the male lead controlled them, the two are still bickering. At that moment, Count Dracula emerged from the castle. All of you stop! He shouted. He instantly subdued everyone present. In an instant, Suxiabai's Azura ghost hand was shattered. Even the class guards present felt immense pressure. It was clear that Dracula was probably on the same level as Old Mu. Suddenly, a helicopter arrived overhead, besides Long Weiying's mother. Probably no one in the Star Spirit Court had such a grand entrance. Then she reluctantly grumbled and walked out of the plane. Everyone's here. It's not like you're all so eager for a promotion. She also glared at Suxiabai. It seems she still has not gotten over losing the guard competition to Long Weiying. She's still brooding about it. Seeing everyone was there, Count Dracula, let's get down to business. I have two main things to tell you all today. First is Suxiaozai performed excellently in retrieving the Light's gift, and in the incident involving Dean Liu. Therefore, Suxiaobai of Dark Infinity is promoted. Star Spirit Guardian is ranked to 10. The original D10 Archangel Long Yan is promoted to the 9th rank. Then Dracula will now solicit everyone's opinions. Long Yan did not expect to benefit from Suxiaobai. She immediately voted in favor without any objections. Lilith was well aware of the male lead's strength, so she had no objections either. Just now Xiaobai had intervened to stop Lilith and Bayuma, and quietly apologized to her. This further endeared this knave and sweet girl. He started to strategize against himself. Bayuming felt displeased seeing the male lead and Lilith together so intimately. Although she understood Suxiaozi's strength was not a problem, she decided to snatch what Lilith liked. The Star Spirit Guards are not only protecting the Star Spirit Court, but also surrounding small countries like ours, as class guards represent the highest combat power of the Star Spirit Court. You're letting a newcomer take on this role. My people not feel safe? Dracula retorted. Then what would make you admit it? Bayumo immediately stated. Let Suxiaozi return to the Daughter Kingdom with her, and publicly break the Jade Maiden heart-capturing sword formation. Then I'll acknowledge his class guard qualification. The male lead was immediately agitated upon hearing about the Jade Maiden heart-capturing sword formation. He could not remain calm. Also realized that Ziyumo was deliberately making things difficult. The Jade Maiden sword formation is the daughter country's ultimate secret technique. Suxiabai that the Earl would definitely not agree to such an unreasonable request. After all, the name of the formation does not sound very serious. Unexpectedly, the Earl cleared his throat and actually agreed. He let Suxiao go to the Daughter Kingdom to break the formation, to showcase the strength of the Star Spirit Court. Lilith was instantly petrified after hearing this. This is completely doomed. It's like a lamb falling into the mouth of a tiger. Bayuma looked on with glee and scattenfried. Suxiabai, I've got you. Then Dracula asked everyone to follow her inside. The main reason she called everyone here was about this D2 matter. It's about the Star Spirit Guardian, a Class D2's explosive spark thunderbolt being killed. After examining the body, Bayumo concluded that he died from a knife wound. Moreover, he was killed with a single strike. Few people have reached this level. For a moment, she could not figure out who it was. Dracula told her to examine the wound carefully, and she would understand. When she touched the wound, the girl was instantly shocked. This aura, it's the killing intent of the Heavenly King. This is a magical lamp. It's full of young ladies with black stockings and long legs. The male lead was being taken home by the girl. They rushed back at breakneck speed. This was the first time she brought a man home. She had a shy and bashful look on her face. She told Suxiao to be gentle later, but this insensitive oaf was completely lost in thought the whole way. He did not listen to a word she said. This left Bayumo quite puzzled. She was, after all, the most beautiful woman in the Daughter Kingdom. He was completely unmoved by her. Meanwhile, Xiao Bat was concentrating on why Master Ku was inquiring about Zhongqin. Unexpectedly, the girl was being underhanded. She actually used a surprise attack. Bai Meizi then took the opportunity to hang onto the male lead. Suxiao, you're so bold. I'm talking to you. Could you be thinking about Lilith? What's so good about her? Am I not more beautiful than her? The male lead did not expect Bei Yuming to be so uninhibited. I'm afraid her subordinates are about the same. Badmizi removed by Su Xiaobai, he persistently asked, who was prettier himself or Lilith? As a result, the flying sword swerved and plunged downwards. With a splash, he fell into the water. When he resurfaced, he was shocked by the sight before him. It was a place of such picturesque beauty. It's the Sword Immortal's daughter kingdom. The girls by the lake, hearing the commotion, all looked towards the lake in surprise. How come this person looks so different from them? Does not even have breasts? Could it be a predator? Su Xiaobai, seeing this scene, almost popped his eyes out. This figure, the black silk. She's really something. Suddenly there was a gurgling sound in the water, immediately followed by a splash. Then the girl leaped into the air. She executed a perfect backflip and landed steadily on the flying sword. The people of the Daughter Kingdom saw that their sect leader had returned. They hurriedly bowed to welcome the sect leader. At this moment, the girl's demeanor suddenly changed. The male lead was momentarily stunned. Her dignified coldness was a stark contrast to her previous uninhibited nature. Then the white sect leader gave an order. My disciples of the sword sect, capture the man in the sacred spring alive. Tonight I will subject him to rigorous interrogation. After receiving the order, the female disciples, I just realized, a man. Instantly everyone got excited. The one in the water is a man. Grown up this big. It was the first time they had ever seen a man. Some of the girls even started comparing themselves to him. Some girls even started daydreaming right then and there. My heart is pounding. I cannot wait to get on board. I want to treat the male lead like a rare treasure. Grab him and put him on display in the town square for everyone to admire. In the end, Beimizi stopped the chaos. Do not be deceived by his handsome looks. Although he came to Mount Shu with me on the same flying sword, he coveted my beauty as the sect leader, and took liberties with me. Su Xiaobai looked at the girl with the upside-down black and white hair. He was completely speechless. Who knew these subjects blindly trusted their sect leader? They were furious and wanted to arrest the male lead. Su Xiaobai felt immense pressure. The girls in Daughter Country, are they also easily deceived? Late night, two girls brought the male lead who was tied up, blindfolded to a gazebo. Soon as they left, Su Xiaozi did not bother pretending anymore. He struggled and broke free from his bonds. Knowing these things could not hold me. Went to all this trouble. What? Suddenly a splashing sound came. Su Xiaobai. He hid behind a large rock. He turned his head to look. What a beautiful sight of a woman bathing. Her skin so pure and flawless. Then the girl raised her hand and tossed her hair. Su Xiaobai, have you had enough? The male lead quickly protested. I saw it. I truly did not know the sect master was bathing here. Please forgive me. Forgiveness is impossible. Although I'm not as innocent as Lilith. After all, a chaste woman. You saw body. You're responsible for me. This girl really knows how to play. She's directly reversing the male lead. She's determined to get him even by force. She directly performs a seductive bath scene. This delicate and charming look. Do you like it? Hurry up and make your move. Hurry up. Do not tell me you're not going to take responsibility after seeing her. Do you men all want to leave after you're done? Hearing this, Su Xiao could not help but swallow. She would not be asking me to. Badmizi was really bold at this moment. She directly walked out of the pool completely naked, stating she would not force the male lead to marry her. As long as I can summit the marriage with her tonight. Su Xiaobai instantly broke out in a cold sweat upon hearing this. I understand now. You've been scheming against me. You went to all this trouble to trick me here. You do not want me to interact with your female disciples. You want to hog them all to yourself, right? Su Xiaobai boldly stepped forward. Unfortunately, consummating the marriage is probably not going to happen as you wish. Have you ever heard of the geckos? Before he could finish his sentence, Su Xiaozi saw Beimizi completely undressed and exposed. The male lead awkwardly stole a glance. Perhaps you should put your clothes on first, then we can talk. But Beimizi grabbed his collar, pulled him forward forcefully, and directly fell on top of him. Su Xiaobai still had not grasped the situation. My first kiss is, the young boy is alone outside. He must protect himself. It's so dangerous. I've seen the indescribable scene myself. Just then with a whoosh, a beam of light shot up into the sky and exploded. Beimizi was startled and turned pale when she saw it. It's a distress signal. She was about to rush to help. Su Xiaobai quickly reached out to stop her. You should put some clothes on first. You cannot go to a fight stark naked. I'll handle the rescue. Meanwhile in the Daughter Kingdom city, fires were raging. The people are fleeing in panic. The predator is attacking. The mountain gate has been breached. Everyone run. Unfortunately, a girl, because of her large size, and because she tripped over a stone under her feet, fell to the ground. It's all over for her. There's also one behind her, demon-level predator Boar Emperor. The girl watches the approaching monster, shaking with The Boar Emperor says, Girl, you have a great figure. You're my type. Woman. The girl is dumbfounded. It's just as the Boar King greedily stuck out his tongue at the girl. A beam of light shot out with a whoosh, piercing his tongue directly. The Boar King stared in astonishment at the man who had dramatically appeared. She's such a beautiful girl. How could she possibly marry a pig like you? Do not be afraid, little sister. I'll handle this pig. The young lady only then saw clearly that the one who saved her was the man the sect leader brought back. This Daughter Kingdom sect leader is truly formidable. She directly and forcefully took the male lead. She even asked Su Xiaobai if he was comfortable. Unexpectedly, a predator attacked at this moment. This wild boar not only wants the girl to be his wife, they were to enter the bridal chamber immediately, but then Su Xiaozi appeared at the crucial moment. The girl is so beautiful. How could she marry a brute like you? Someone ruined his good deed. The enraged boar grabbed his spike club. He wildly beat the male lead. Humph! Tiny human dares to defy this king. Looking at the deep pit on the ground, I'm afraid he's been smashed to smithereens. Not just all the noble women in this daughter kingdom. I'll take them all. Looking at his arrogant piggish face, the male lead raises his fist and charges. Let me help you sober up. Seeing a fist the size of a sandbag, getting closer and closer, the wild boar was instantly terrified. Stop, stop. Unfortunately, it was headshot the next second, leaving its huge body standing there. This wild boar killed more than a dozen sisters from the daughter country. He was actually killed with one punch by Suk Xiaobai. Watching the wild boar collapse, Suk Xiaobai then turned to ask the girl if she was all right. The girl asked, quite puzzled, I do not think you look like a bad person. Why did the sect leader call you a lecher? The male lead responded with a smile. My name is Suk Simples Protos Guardi. Just by hearing his name, you know it's Suk Xiaobai who defeated Liu Jianyu. The girl's eyes immediately lit up, but this starstruck look left Suk Xiaobai quite puzzled. Am I famous here? Suddenly a asterisk capish capasterisk sound from nearby interrupted them. Hundreds of skeleton soldiers surged forward like a tide, and a powerful demon-level predator, the Skeleton Emperor, immediately questioned whether Suk Xiao had killed the Wild Boar Emperor. Suk Xiao readily admitted it. He was not afraid of a god-level being, so why would he fear a demon-level one? The Skeleton Emperor, having received his answer, immediately ordered, My men, get in there and tear him to shreds. Immediately countless skeleton soldiers charged towards the two, one after another. Seeing the aggressively charging skeleton soldiers, the male protagonist told the girl to stay back, and immediately activated his ghost god power. So many small fries are swarming over. At best, they're just boosting my damage. Then I shout, Take this! Charge into battle, death before dishonor. The skeleton soldiers charged forward, shouting their battle cry. The leading skeleton emperor realized something was wrong. You fools, get out of the way. The male lead unleashed his Azura's wrath. With a hum, it was released. He instantly defeated them all with one move. Even the skeleton emperor could not escape. Suk Xiaobai then realized he had used excessive force. Perhaps Bai would make him compensate for the city's losses. The little sister, watching from the sidelines, blurted out in shock. Looking at the situation, you're definitely done for. At this moment, at the gates of the daughter kingdom, another group of predators charged forward. My men act. Bring back all the beautiful women. Remember to go easy. If you injure them, they'll be useless. The vanguard was just about to charge up the steps, when they saw a sword plunge into the steps with an asterisk thwack asterisk. Bayumo, the sovereign of the daughter kingdom, appeared. Upon seeing the daughter kingdom citizens lying dead on the ground, she was furious. I will guard the gates of the daughter kingdom. I will kill you all. These predators laughed as if I'd told the funniest joke ever. They all burst into laughter together. Then a predator of demonic level, carrying a large cleaver, stepped forward. He did not recognize the girl before him. She was the sword sex grandmaster. I felt like I had tens of thousands of brothers with me, so I was wrecked, and even dared to ask the girl to follow me. If the kingdom of women were conquered by a pack of brutal beasts, these young ladies facing such powerful predators, you can imagine what would happen to them. It turned out to be a conspiracy against the male protagonist. It's all for the dark infinity within Suk Xiaobai's body. Because of the daughter kingdom's leader's strength, they sent a large number of predators to test the waters. If it were not for these monsters' interference, Bai Mizi might have already won the male lead over. Seeing these tragically dead citizens, she angrily flung her hand out, a sword finger slashing through, easily taking down the leader of these predators. They originally came here after finding out that the sword sect master was not around. Now they're all going to be in big trouble. The enraged girl attacked with her sword. None of you are getting away, you're all going to die. Then she cut through them like vegetables. The predator at the back of the group, though sensing something was wrong, found there were simply too many people. I cannot see what's happening ahead at all. Suddenly a predator yelled loudly to retreat. Retreat quickly. Guarding the mountain gate is the sword sect master Yu Mo. She's gone completely berserk. Everywhere she goes, debris flies everywhere. After a while, Sect Master Bei finally gets a chance to catch her breath. She annihilated the enemy predator forces in the defense of the mountain gate. The enemy kill count was 18,272. Just think Xiaobai arrived. Truly worthy of being Grandmaster Bei. She single-handedly killed all the invaders. The name of Sword Immortal, it lives up to its reputation. Bai Mizi listened to Suk Xiaobai flattering her, but felt somewhat lonely instead.